1.2 of the agenda, which is roll call, and ask our clerk, Jessie Clark, to please call the roll.
Thank you. Mayor Lamstead, are you present?
I am present.
Deputy Mayor Armstrong?
Present.
Councillor Franzen?
Present.
Councillor Braybrook?
Present.
Councillor Cadigan?
Present.
For staff, we have Donna Taggart, CAO Treasurer.
Present.
Steve Brockbank, Director of Emergency Services.
Present.
Dylan Kosh, Director of Recreation and Facilities.
Present.
Evan Grieger, Director of Public Works.
Present.
Eric Gay, Director of Building and Planning, CBO.
Present.
Bianca Dragicevic, Deputy Clerk. Matt Winches, Supervisor of Waste, Public Works Coordinator.
Present.
And Jessie Clark, Director of Corporate Services, Clerk is present.
Okay, thank you, Jessie. We can move on now to item 1.3 of our agenda, which is land acknowledgement and moment of reflection. We respectfully acknowledge that Trent Lakes in Peterborough County are located on the Treaty 20 Mississauga territory and in the traditional territory of the Mississauga and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaty First Nation, which include Curve Lake, Hiawatha, Alderville, Scugog Island, Rama, Beausoleil, and Georgina Island First Nations. Trent Lakes respectfully acknowledges that the Williams Treaty First Nations are the stewards and caretakers of this land and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. We will now take a moment to reflect on these principles and our duties and responsibilities as members of council. Thank you, everyone. I will now share my video because apparently I wasn't sharing that. Okay. Now we can move on to item 2 of our agenda, which is the approval of the agenda is circulated with one amendment, which is the Lions Club's application for a grant was a few days late in getting to us because of computer issues and technical issues. We understand those sometimes. I personally do. I've done that frequently. So I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Deputy Mayor Armstrong and Councillor Franzen for a seconder. Any conversation about the amended agenda? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Now we can move on to item 3 of our agenda, which is disclosure of pecuniary interest. If any member of council has a pecuniary interest on any item on the agenda, please disclose it now or anytime during the meeting prior to discussing anything on the item you have a pecuniary interest in. I'm seeing no hands. We can move on now to item 4 of our agenda, which is presentations. At item 4.1 is Andriana Landry, our CAO from the Trent Lakes Public Library. Are you online?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We certainly can. Please go ahead.
Okay.
You can do
Great.
your presentation. I think by
Perfect. Thank you. I'm not sure why my camera is not working. It is on, but you don't need to see me. You need to see the presentation. So I think we'll be good. We can move on to the next slide. Okay, so I just wanted to give a quick overview of what the library does and who we are, even though you all do know, but I just want to remind everybody of the importance of the library, why we're here. So we give access to information and learning, provide free access to books, ebooks, audiobooks, magazines, DVDs, offers computer access, internet, digital literacy. We have Wi-Fi. Many people use it from the parking lot. You don't even have to come in to use the Wi-Fi. Supports lifelong learning for all ages, from children to seniors. Offers community programs and events, workshops on technology, arts, health, history, personal development, seasonal special events that bring the community together, early literacy programs for young children to build foundational reading skills, and provides technology access and digital equity for everybody. As we all know, our internet is not always great back in the country, so a lot of people come in to use our Wi-Fi inside and out to bring in their laptop so they can use all of those, borrow DVDs to bring back home, access to emerging technologies. We don't have 3D printers yet, but we do offer different things like the Crickets, which is good to create art, digital literacy training to help residents navigate online services and information. Just giving a quick example, yesterday we had a guest speaker from Trent University giving a great talk on AI, how it works, the good, the bad, the ugly. So that was great. We have our so we call those events coffee and chat, and we have different speakers coming in and talking to us about different ways, different things. Like the variety is so great. From the AI yesterday, we had our volunteer gardener Pam Chalou that did a great presentation on her garden. So Marie Windover came over and give backstory on our history in the township. So it's been very great attendance. So the library is blooming, and yeah, it's always great to see how many people are enjoying our presentation as well. Can move on to the next slide. All right, so here's our draft budget for 2026. What we did last year, what we're hoping to get this year. So the municipal contribution would be up by about 4.1%. So we're asking an additional 11,500 this year. If we go to the next slide. So the labor wages 4% increase. We're following what the municipality is doing. The other big one is the janitorial services. We did not have anybody to come and clean the library, so that was done by staff. So we hired someone to come in once a week. Staff will continue to do everyday cleaning here and there, but we have a deep clean once a week, which I think is very necessary for everybody's health. We did a volunteer recognition, which was the New Year levy. We're very grateful for everybody who came. Mayor, Deputy Mayor, we had a few councillors, so thank you everybody who came to that. It was very appreciated. Our volunteers were really happy to be recognized, and staff as well. And we're also upping a little bit of our utilities. As we all know, everything's going up, so both our electricity and propane, we went over last year, so I'm adding a little bit more in there as well. For people who were there for Mary Windover and for AI yesterday, we were in really cramped quarters. We had to add many chairs. We had 22 people yesterday, and we didn't have enough space. When Mary came, we had over 30 people and we didn't have enough space. So we're hoping to buy mobile shelving so that we can move all our shelvings to the side by pushing it aside and create a better space for programming so that more people can attend and more people can attend comfortably. I talked with Donna about this. We can use some of our development charges so that we don't ask more money directly from council this year. So this is $6,900, and I think that's going to be an amazing addition to the library. Next slide. Yeah, so I went over that already. Sorry, I should have switched. So yeah, just like I said, our janitorial services, utilities, that's the reason why we did that. Next slide. Labor increase. So as the library aligns with the municipal pay scale, wage adjustment followed the municipality's recommendations. So 4.5 increase for municipal employees is recommended. And we also went for the summer student. We went through the Canada Summer Student Grant with the municipality. We're really hoping to be getting a student this summer. It's great for the summer reading program that libraries do every summer. So if we do get a student, we have to pay for half their wages. So that would be $31.68. Next slide. So that's our revenue for this year. Everybody can take a look. It's the usual. Our big grant that we get every year is our $25,000 provincial grant. And then donations are always, people are very generous in our community. We're always very grateful. Goodbye Room is absolutely amazing. Cannot speak enough of how good work they're doing, bringing us $20,000 a year. It's really amazing. special grant, pay equity grant we get every year as well from the government. We can go to next slide. So our expenses, I just added in the right column there where we're asking more money. The postage, I wrote a little something there, but it's been already in the budget. We didn't use any last year because we've only been borrowing from other libraries, interlibrary loan. But it costs the other libraries to send books to us through postage. So I think it's just fair that we start lending our material to other libraries as well. And yeah, our budget is $500 for that postage. We have a special rate with Canada Post, so we don't pay full rate to send the books out. Otherwise, it would be way too much money. But the government is giving us a special rate. Next slide. So same thing, propane, janitorial services, hydro, and then wages is all the areas where I'm asking for a little more money. And next slide, I think that's it.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions?
Okay, thank you, Andriana. We will ask that right now. Does anyone on council have any comments or questions regarding this presentation? I'm seeing none. That means you did a very thorough job.
Thank you.
And I would entertain a motion from a member of council. Council Braver, go ahead. Motion received.
We also have to approve the library levy in the amount of $298,437.32.
Absolutely.
Stole the words from him.
Stole the words from my
Exactly what you were saying. And I see Councillor Cadigan for a second for that motion. Any comments or questions regarding the motion? Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
Yeah, just a comment that we had originally budgeted $300,000 for this. So good news that we have a little bit of extra.
Yeah, well done. Okay. Thank you very much. It was quite enjoyable actually attending your levy, and I think many members of council made it to that, and it was quite well done. Thank you very much for that. Okay.
Thank you so much for coming. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay. Now we can move on to item 5 of our agenda, which is delegations. And delegations by grant applications. Just want to remind every delegate that delegate that we only have 10 minutes per delegation. So we want to keep you down. There'll be a timer on the screen for most of them, but if they're on video on, they won't be. So I think Donna Taggart, our CAO treasurer, would like to start this off for grant application.
Thank you, and through you. So the community grants for 2026 totaled $220,981.73, which has of course gone up a bit with the Lions Club request. All requests have been included on the agenda today. Under the grant policy, the total grant funding available in 2026 is $68,324, which is 0.60% of the levy from 2025. So this means that requests received are, I guess, over 153,000 more than what is available under the program. As a reminder, the last couple of years, we have taken the difference between what council awards under this program and the 68,000 in this case, and that amount goes into miscellaneous grants for the year and allows council some additional funds to give throughout the year when requests come through. So the next steps after this process would be that council complete the grant matrix, and we would appreciate that back by January 30th. So to give you an opportunity to go through all the requests, and yeah, that would really be it. The plan is to bring the budget back to you for approval February 17th, and there will be a report on the averages calculated by staff under this program, which is what is reflected in the policy, how amounts are determined. But of course, there will be an opportunity at that February 17th meeting for council to discuss and change amounts as long as amounts remain within that $68,000 envelope. So that would be it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Okay, we can move on now to our first grant application, which is BCBM Cottage Owners Association. Is anyone in the gallery or online that would like to speak to this item? I'm seeing no hands. Anyone on council would like to speak to this item? That's Councilor Catting, go ahead.
Beaver Lake, Cavendish, and Mississauga, I believe.
No,
Beaver,
McGinnis.
McGinnis,
It's
yeah.
Beaver, Cavendish, Bottle, McGinnis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're looking for money for their annual summer regatta. They need to upgrade some of their equipment, I believe.
We do see a hand
Okay, they've been operating for something like 60 years.
online. Robin Johnson, I'm going to unmute you. You'll have to unmute yourself as well.
Good morning, Robin.
Good morning.
How are you?
Hello. Can you
Hello.
hear me?
Yes, we can. You have 10
Oh,
minutes.
perfect. Thank you so much. I raised my hand. I was trying to get in and here I am. So thank you so much. Just to speak about this, yes, this is the Beaver, Cavendish, Bottle, McGinnis Cottage Owners Association. We have approximately 144 members. And out of that 144 membership, we have less than 10% that don't pay their dues. So in other words, we have a very, very active association with 90% participation. We have run a regatta every year since 1958, and it, I believe, is still the only regatta that is still operating on the 7 lakes up in Ketchcoma area. The reason I'm asking for the money is because we keep our dues very low. We pay $25 annually. And what that covers is our insurance for our markers and our markers themselves. And everything else is basically volunteer. We do ask for donations for a directory, and that goes towards the regatta itself. The regatta is held on the August 1st long weekend every year, and we have at least 120 to 140 participants attending. It's a really good community event where people get to have fun and meet their neighbors, and kids get to meet other kids on the lake. We try and keep it towards the children, but lately we've also made it so it is for everyone. Now, this is the first time that I've ever applied for a grant, so the amount requested is based on what my wish list would be. That doesn't mean that that's what I'm looking for. I would love to have that, but any kind of money that I do get would be greatly appreciated. And I'm not sure that that's how this works. So I just want to put that forward that this is like, if I had a Santa Claus wish list, this is what I would request. Some of the items that we're looking for are items that we need in order to bring it up to date. Because right now we're working with a system that a megaphone system to announce races, and it gets quite annoying to hear all the static and stuff like that. So those are just some of the types of things that we're asking for. These are all capital projects. They're not anything to make us run. It's just to improve the actual event itself. So I appreciate if you would consider our grant, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Robin? I'm seeing none. I do recall participating in a canoe race in that regatta when I was considerably younger. So thank you very much for your application. Do motions all at once?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Robin. I see no questions, so we can move on. Appreciate it. Okay, we can move on to the Bob Cajun and surrounding area Terry Fox Run. Is anyone here to delegate for that, or please come to the podium and state your name, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Please state your name for the record.
Thank you. My name is Joy Mouse, and actually today, I really thought I'd be here just to see the process and to answer any questions you might have from our application. This is the first time we have applied for any kind of funding, but since I'm given a bit of opportunity, I guess I should take it. It's the Bob Cajun and surrounding area. So surrounding area is Kinmount, Buckhorn, Masaga Lake area. And for the last, well, first of all, with the Terry Fox, it's been going on for last year, it was 45th anniversary. And we have been an organizer in the surrounding area, Trent Lakes, Bob Cajun area, and it's been an incredibly rewarding experience. Our Terry Fox runs are 100% volunteer, all grassroots. How we raise money is from participants that come out for the day. We go out to local businesses, and sometimes it's from our own pockets just to do extra events leading up to the September run. And extra events would be, we participate in trade shows, parades, we're on the streets for anyone taking donations. We have different things like balloon pops, win a prize, raffle draws, anything to bring awareness and to carry on the legacy of what Terry Fox started 45 years ago. It's always in September, and that's the reason September is because that's when Terry passed it on to all of us to continue on. Last year, our community raised almost 35,000, which I think for the surrounding area, that is quite an accomplishment. Probably our first year was about 7,000, so we've come a long way and we're going certainly in the right direction. The Terry Fox Foundation is a wonderful foundation to work with, and they provide tremendous support. They provide us with the road signs, pamphlets, save the date postcards. So there's a lot of support that way, but we could also use with some additional funding, and what I'm asking for is $1,000, which would really go a long way, because again, it would just allow us to maybe hold some other events to bring even more awareness to this community event. And also when I speak about community, it's just bringing the whole community together. Last year we had about 200 people come out for, it is the run, because Terry Fox called it a run, but you can walk, you can bike, and you can do 1K, 5K, 10K. We have it all marked. We have assistance from the police, paramedics. We have a wonderful venue that hosts it and really helps us to support it. So again, I'm here just to hopefully put in this application and perhaps get even more attention to it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joy. Does anyone on council have any comments or questions for Joy? I'm seeing none. I just have a comment. I managed to get to the monument in Northern Ontario several times in my life, and
Very
hope
good.
to continue to do so in the future. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. We can move on now to the Buckhorn Community Center and Athletic Association. Is there anybody in the gallery that would like to speak for or against? Not against, for this application. I'm back to minor variance committee. I'm seeing no hands. Is there anyone online that would like to speak with us?
I'm not seeing any hands.
Well, we have all of their information and all of their application requirements in front of us. So we can move on now to the Buckhorn District Snowmobile Club. I think we have someone in the gallery. If you come to the podium and please state your name for the record, please.
Hi, I'm Gord Rance. I'm the president of the Buckhorn District Snowmobile Club. We put in for a grant application for one of our parking areas. It's north of Flynn's up in 507 off Purnell's road. We have a parking area there that's in bad state of affair. This is our first time for applying for funds. Most of our funding comes through our permit dollars from snowmobilers that buy permits. That's a limited amount. Most of our funding is through grooming hours. So we get paid for a number of hours of grooming and a number of kilometers of grooming. That's how we get our funding. So all that money goes into actually trails. It doesn't actually have, we don't have any funding, pretty limited funding to put into anything else. So all our money usually, so we go into repairs to the trails, repairs to groomers, bridges, those kind of things. We have very limited funding to put in anywhere else like a parking area. The parking area requires a culvert because it gets washed out on the entrance. It's a parking area that it's all rough. It's been washed away by over the erosion over the years from rain, traffic. It's well used by snowmobilers. They bring in, that's a parking area where they park the trailers and trucks and use our trails. So the trails we have are approximately 160 kilometers of trails that they access, and then it leads to other areas like Bob Cajun. They can go up as far as Goodham. They can go as far as anywhere in Ontario from that parking lot. Other users groups use that parking area in the summertime. So our Fourth ATV Association, they use that parking area also. Like I said, it is in bad state of affair. It's very rough. It needs to be a little bigger. We do have a lot of, when it's a good season like we are experiencing this year, which is phenomenal. We do get a lot of traffic there, and it's so much parking. They're actually parking on the road itself, so which is it's not safe for that too. So like I said, we do have limited funding. All our money goes into trail work. For example, we've had to do one area this year where a culvert was plugged up by the beavers. We had to have the culvert removed and material brought in. That was a $9,000 job that we had to come up with. So our budget is very limited on other things that we can do. We would like to put it in the trail work. That's where our riders want, and for repairs to our groomers. We're constantly, we've been repairing groomers since day one. So
okay, thank you, Gord. Well, I take
we
it.
appreciate your consideration in the grant application.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Gord? Councilor Cadigan, go ahead.
Through your mayor, Gord, the parking lot you're talking about doing is a forced access parking lot?
It's owned by Peterborough County. So
is it the one
it's
north of Ketchcombe Lake?
No, it's north of Flynn's between I'd say 6 or 7 kilometers north of Flynn's.
The road into Purnell's pit.
The road into Purnell's. You're just coming off Purnell's Road and it's there on your right. Yeah.
I do believe that's owned by the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry. But
It could be. Some of the parking lots, there's one we have further up north on the right that I think we lease. We have an MOU with the Peterborough County to use that piece of property. But yeah, it's a well-used parking area. We provide a washroom there. There's signage for the trails. I mean, it promotes tourism. I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? We're bringing a lot of people in from outside the community to use that parking area to access our snowmobile trails. And like I say, our snowmobile trails, you can access, you can go from here to Algonquin Park to anywhere. So we do get a lot of traffic through that, so it's,
And that parking lot is full, summertime, springtime, fall,
Yeah,
winter.
yeah.
So it is well used.
It is well used, and like I say, it's
jammed.
very, very rough condition. Even for us to try to plow it in the winter time, to try to level it out, very, very difficult because of the rocks, and it's just a risk of us damaging our groomers that need to be on the trails, getting the trails ready for snowmobilers, not worrying about parking, cleaning out a parking lot.
Okay, thank you, Gordon. Thank you for answering questions. Anyone have any other comments or questions? Councilor Braber, go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Thanks very much, Gord. Just a couple of questions.
Yes.
Your permit account shows a total of just over $110,000 with a tel pay clearing line item of minus just over 94,000. What's a tel pay clearing?
That's a good question. I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that because a lot of the funding we get is from the district and the OFSC. So all the permit dollars come into the district, and then the money from there comes in to us. So I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that question, but I can get that answer for you if you need to be.
Yeah, I'm just curious because that's a big amount.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's, the maintenance of the trail or.
And mostly, so, I mean, we do have, sometimes we do have access through the district for additional funding, but that funding is usually put towards trails. Nobody's ever, in my experience in the past, has gone towards anything else but towards bridges and trail repairs. That's our biggest expense. Nobody's ever really concerned about parking areas as much. So again, our money goes back into our trails. We have so many water holes. The trails in this area now are getting so much use year round from ATV side by sides that it's having an issue for us for snowmobilers. Because of the condition of the trails, we're putting a lot of money back into the trails to try to repair water holes. Bridges are being used more and more, and you look at bridges that are $20,000, $30,000 every time you do a bridge. It doesn't take long to eat up our money, and we don't have that in our budget. We apply for outdoor grants through like Trillium funds and everything else like that if we need funding for bridges and stuff like that. We don't have that money at all.
Okay, just a second question to
Please
you.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Do you know what your plus minus is right now, like your balance in your account?
Right now, we have $5,000, just over $5,000 in fundraising accounts, and then we have about $7,000 or $9,000 in permit dollars. So we have a total. We had a meeting last night. It's around $15,000 in total in our budget.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you've certainly put a lot of time into cleaning the trails from our spring ice storm.
It's been a challenging year.
Volunteers everywhere.
We're still not done.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put in almost 1,300 hours, man hours so far this year in clearing trails. And that's all by volunteers.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none. Thank you for your.
Thank you.
There. Now we can move on to the Buckhorn Public School. Is anyone in the gallery to speak for the Buckhorn Public Schools grant application, or anyone online?
I have them online. Lindsay, I'll unmute you now. And you'll also need to unmute yourself.
Good morning, Lindsay. I love it when computers work. Are you out there? Is there anyone in the physical gallery that would like to speak to this grant application? See none. Well, We do have all the information in our agenda that's been circulated and read by council members. So we could move on and come back to this if need be. I don't hear anyone, so I think it's prudent to move on. And I think, Jesse, if you get a hold of Lindsay, we can come back to this, I think. One more try. Good morning, Jesse. Or good morning, Lindsay. Good morning, Jesse.
I'm sending unmute requests, but she's still
Okay.
muted.
Okay. A couple of minutes. Okay. I have to give her just a little more time because I can see me at the other end of this, going, what? Pushing buttons, calling. Okay. We're trying our best. Okay, I think I give up. We can move on now to the Cavendish Community Policing Committee. Is there anyone in the gallery that would like to speak for this application? Go ahead. Just come to the podium and state your name just for the record so we know who is speaking.
I don't know. Oh, it's easy. Oh, no, it's not.
No, it's just relax, take some time, pretend we're not even here. Some days we're not.
Hi, I'm Deborah Pajot, and I'm here on behalf of the Cavendish Community Policing Committee. Thank you for taking in our application. I just found out yesterday that this meeting was occurring, so I'm really not prepared, and I'm not a speaker anyways. So bear with me. We were established back in 1995. I've been a volunteer with them actively since then. The reason that we had established the committee was because we had active break-in enters in our local community, and we wanted to liaison with the Peterborough detachment of the OPP to try to make our community a safer place to be. We fundraise once a year. Actually, we haven't been active since COVID started. We last were in 2019. And when COVID hit, we closed down because of all of the requirements for public. We have been on the back burner ever since with discussion with our volunteers during those years that we were absent from the office. We started up again in person of January of 2025. So we've been a full year actively back again. We exist of a chair, a vice chair, a treasurer, and a secretary. We're in the process of updating our terms of reference, which were last updated back in 2013. Unfortunately, our chair is on holiday for the next 3 months. Otherwise, he would have been here doing this. And I would have been the moral support. And our fundraising, what we do is during Carnival Day up in the Cavendish Community Center, which is held in July, we have an annual raffle. And all of the prizes are donated from the community and local businesses, and we sell tickets for the raffle, and that's how we do our fundraising. What we have done with our fundraising funds is we have, we used to have, and like again, we've only been back up and operating since 25. We used to have a volunteer appreciation dinner every year at our local community center. We support our volunteers by providing T-shirts so that they can be recognized when they're on duty. We have held at the community center different events for our local community. And any questions?
Okay, thank you very much, Deborah. Anyone on the committee have any, council have any comments or questions? Councilor Cadden, go ahead.
Through Mayor, are there plans to restart the rock bass fishing derby again? That was a well-received program.
Actually, yes, we would like to get that back up and running for this year. It takes a lot of those nasty fish out of the lake, and also it's a great, last time we ran it, I think we had 50 children participate and everybody loves it. We have one of the liaison officers from the OPP come up and do some kind of a display and just be visibly on site, and everybody has a really good time. Oh, we used to be sponsored, which by Bob Izumi for that event. And Lucky Strike, which no longer. So part of the funds that we are requesting for is to hold a couple of the different types of events, and that would be one of them. Another one would be to have the community center. We would put on different seminars such as senior scams through the OPP and that kind of thing.
Comment, if I may, I've noticed that the rock bass population around our place anyways is almost gone. Like there's very few compared to what there used to be. So it's effective.
Good.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks very much, Deb. I've been encouraging the policing committee to come to council, so we had a better understanding of what they are doing now that they are reforming and aligning with the OPP. So I think you've done that.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Councilor Baber, go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. And thanks very much for your presentation. And I understand that you do have an OPP officer that comes to your meetings, and that's sort of a liaison back to his detachment, and that's on a regular basis. And I think it's great that you've reconstituted the program, because if nothing else, I know you're going to do great work, but if nothing else, at least now we have a satellite office up in Cavendish, just off of 507. That, you know, that's a hot road for issues. So just the presence that satellite office is going to provide for the OPP officers, they're going to be there more often, as they now have a computer system in there.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
The node that is in there now, and they can come in actually. It's a great building. It's, you know, it's functional, and it's got, you know, little, they can make a coffee, a microwave. There's a washroom. Now they've got the node computer system in there. So that's, yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, just one more comment.
Sure, go ahead. Absolutely.
So the events that you're planning, maybe perhaps you've probably already put thought to this, was at one of your meetings to come up and have an agenda item laying out which events you're going to participate in throughout the year for 2026. And if you are able to do that, perhaps the municipality might be able to advertise some of those on our municipal website.
Oh, perfect. We do advertise through our local 507 Facebook page. We also have a Cavendish Community Policing Facebook page that we post things such as missing people or that type of thing. And we do hold a meeting once a month, and the officer from Peterborough Detachment does attend the meeting. And we usually have 1 or 2 counselors of Trent Lakes that do also attend, and we appreciate that too.
Thank you. Excellent. Any other questions? I do notice that more frequently now you see a car parked in front of that building, which is kind of nice to see. It slows me down. I mean, slows people down on the 507. So it's good to see that they're getting a spot to go and sit there and go in and use the computer, do whatever they need to do, and then they go back and drive around our community. So it makes us feel a little more safe seeing police officers in our community. So
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Just relax. It's all good. Now we can move on to the Cavendish Community Ratepayers Association. Is there anyone in the gallery that would like to speak to this item? I believe we might have someone online.
Yep, Gary, I'm going to unmute you now.
Thank you, Jesse. On behalf of the Cavendish Community Ratepayers Association and our members, I want to thank council and staff for the opportunity to present our application for the community grant. If you could go to the next slide, Jesse, thank you. The Cavendish Community Ratepayers Association, I think staff and council have a fairly good understanding of who we are, but we are a 30-year-old community-based organization. We work with all the other cottage, lake, and road associations, residents, businesses, and all levels of government, basically to find solutions that are of importance to all of the property owners in Trent Lakes. I'm not going to spend too much time on our of who we are, other than obviously a lot of our mission aligns with the municipality. And I think over the years, we have a very honorable track record working with staff and council on a number of very successful projects, including the comprehensive zoning bylaw rewrite about 12 or so years ago, the Love Your Lake program, where we analyzed 1,200 lakefront properties for shoreline naturalization. The Waste Management Initiative, which got Trent Lakes into the leading municipality in the country in terms of diversion rate, and the combined Works Depot and Fire Hall project, which is going to save the municipality a lot of capital and operating expense. And we also participated in the SDR program. Next slide, please, Jesse. So what is the abandoned dock problem? Over the last 10 years or so, and probably going back 25 years ago, people continue to replace old docks. Today, they're getting larger as people, there's more durable materials out there. People are looking for outdoor spaces. They need more space for more water toys and for entertaining. The bottom line is it's very difficult to get rid of an old dock. And so many of them are being abandoned. That is in violation of Public Lands Act, which a lot of people are not aware of. But these docks over the years are breaking down. There's styrofoam bats that are becoming chiclets. Wood metal are deteriorating. Everything is posing a danger to wildlife because they ingest the styrofoam and they die. It affects the fish habitat. It also affects the shorelines. More importantly, the riparian ribbon, which we know is very important from the Love Your Lake program. But the other part of it is it's a navigation issue. Boaters have issues hitting dock pieces flying around, and it's a safety problem for water sports. So why are they abandoned? The tipping fees, typically these are big docks, they're heavy. There's a lot of wood and metal. It's hard to get them out of the water. It's hard to move them to the transfer station. Most people are not aware of the enforcement and what the penalties are. The fact of the matter is the weight, cost, and scope of work is huge. And so people take the least path of resistance and they abandon them. Next slide, please, Jesse. So what are ratepayers saying about abandoned docks? They're a huge environmental issue, and I think everybody here in the room would agree to that. It poses a lot of danger to wildlife, fish habitat, shorelines, and water quality, which we're all focused on. Not a lot is being done to clean them up because of the issue that they're big and heavy, hard to move, and it's a lot of cost to do it. I know myself, I got rid of an old dock, and bringing it up from the shoreline and taking it to the dump, I had the guys at the dump say it probably cost you $250. So we waited till the fall and we burnt it in a drum, and that took a long time. It was a lot of work. Whether it was the right environmental thing at the time, probably not, but it saved probably a lot of time and money. They're an eyesore to our lake system. They're destroying the riparian ribbon, which is the most important thing for lake and water quality. And the floating dock pieces are a safety hazard. Next slide, please, Jesse. Here are some pictures of some of the docks that we have cataloged already over the last number of years. They are everywhere on our 7-lake chain. There are all types and manners of them. They're all in different degrees of decay. They are damaging the shorelines. There's no question about it. And it's time to take action and clean them up. Next slide, please, Jesse. Over the last couple of years, we have started identifying, photographing, and pinning these docks on on Google Maps. And a lot of the work primarily has been done by Robin Johnson and her group over at BCBM and the Gold Lake community. And as you can see here, all those red dots indicate 22 docks that are already photographed and pinned on Google Maps. 6 more were identified last year in Ketchikan and Mississauga. And we believe that the estimated number of docks, once they're all identified, is going to be between 35 and 45. Next slide, please, Jesse. This is a big community event. This is, really aligns with the community grant initiatives in terms of partnerships, collaboration with different groups. We have got every one of the cottager and property owner associations on the 7-lake chain, Ketchikan, Mississauga District, the BCBM, Gold Lake, which doesn't have an association, but they have an active Facebook page, are involved. We have support from the Trent Lakes Environmental Advisory Committee, which you may recall last year made a motion to council that council support this initiative. We have the support of Curve Lake First Nation, and we have provided them with our project plan, and they are looking forward to supporting us. The Ministry of Natural Resources is on board, the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks, Kawartha Highland Signature Site Park, Little Gull Marina, and Trent Lakes Waste Management, because we've been working very closely with Matt Wenke's on it. Next slide, please, Jesse. This is our project plan. We have already developed an education piece and communication strategy. It's in process. We have provided that out, and Rachel Stark is going to be publishing that through some of the social media channels that Trent Lakes has. We've got support from all of our community partners in terms of scope, timing, and resources. After ice out, our plan is to locate, photograph, and pin all the abandoned docks. So some of that's already been done. We will have to identify some of the in-use private docks at the second bridge for water access only cottagers. They're primarily Gold Lake, so we'll do that in the April-May timeframe. We've identified where the takeout locations are, but once we finish cataloging them, we'll identify which ones we'll use for sure. That will then allow us to determine the number of waste bins we need, how many volunteers we need, the rental of heavy duty equipment and where that will be located. And then we'll do a call for volunteers and design specific teams and map locations and identify which docks they'll do. And then we'll look for organizations who can reuse some docks. We have been successful in finding a motocross association that did take a number of docks last year. And the other thing we're looking to do is identify ways to reuse some of the materials. The Curve Lake First Nation said if there's any good cedar, they would take it for arts and crafts and doing their thing. And from an education standpoint, we're going to try and find out how we can get people to reuse some of the styrofoam, which effectively goes into landfill, but they could be used for insulation over septic lids or water line insulation. We did do a scan of all the other cottage associations. We only found one that has done this initiative in the past, and that was Kinesis Lake, and they did about 11 docks a couple of years ago. If we could go to the next slide, Jesse. This is our detailed budget for the initiative. We realize the asks are greater than the money available. So we are working on a plan B. We have talked to the M&R. They do have some potential funding. It has not been confirmed or approved, but we are working with them. And once we photograph all the docks and do an assessment, we'll get a better idea of what we think the dollars will end up being. Next slide, please, Jesse. This is really just checking all the boxes in terms of the community grant criteria and where our project falls in. And I think what you can clearly see is that it does align with everything that the community grant criteria is. So with that, I want to thank again council and staff for allowing us to present our delegation for our community grant. And if you have any questions or suggestions, we're more than happy to hear them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Gary. Anyone on council have any comments or questions for Gary Trules? And see one hand. Go ahead, Councillor Braybrook.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Thanks very much, Gary. I think it's, I know you presented earlier on last year or mid last year on this initiative. I think it's a great initiative, especially if you are able to achieve the 35 to 40 dogs. And I think if you're able to pull this initiative off, it'd be nice if you could chronicle the process, whether it's in coordination with Rachel Stark, if you could chronicle the whole start to finish. And I think that would be a good presentation or a multimedia thing that we could actually put on our municipal website. And even something that our environmental advisory committee could also speak to or get behind.
So good points. Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks very much. Thanks, Gary. What I particularly like about this is that it's a project that's desperately needed, but it's also a pilot that can be replicated across other lakes within our municipality. So it will have life after this project is over.
Exactly. Any other comments or questions? No, I'm seeing none. Just with a quick conversation with the Crystal Lake Cottager people, they know of at least 20 or 30 that, and they haven't even looked yet. So this is a very big problem in all our communities. So, you know, somebody builds a dock, they just drag the other one into the bay and leave it there. And then it goes up on shore and it does deteriorate. And you see many little pieces of styrofoam drifting across the lake when the muskrats have used them for houses over the winter. So it is a problem, and I think this is a great initiative. Thank you very much for bringing us.
And through you, Mayor, one of the things we would like to do is we did do a scan of other lake associations. So we use some of what they did as part of our plan, and we do anticipate and plan to do exactly what Councilor Braybrook was talking about, which is to map this all out so that it can be a template for other lake associations to use.
Okay. Thank you very much, Gary. Any further questions? Okay, I'm seeing none. We certainly appreciate your delegation. Thank you, Gary Drew. Okay, we can now move on to the Cavendish Culture and Recreation Committee. Please come to the podium and state your name for the record. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Kathy Warren. I'm with the Cavendish Culture and Recreation Committee. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for considering our grant application. The Cavendish Culture and Recreation Committee was established in 1980 specifically to retire the debt incurred during the construction of the fire hall in Cavendish. For the next 10 years, the fire hall also served as the community center and library and was a location for all of the fundraising and social activities of our community. Thanks to the dedicated local volunteers, the Culture and Recreation Committee raised $30,000 towards construction of the community center. A provincial Ontario grant covered $150,000 towards materials. Then our wonderful volunteers contributed more than 12,000 hours of labor to complete the construction of the center, which was completed in 1990 mortgage-free. And Cavendish became a real community. Over the years, several significant additions have been made to the center and the grounds through our fundraising efforts, generous donations, and a number of grants. We now have a children's playground, a sports pad, a baseball diamond, pavilion that are greatly enjoyed by all of our community. In addition, we have funded the replacement of our kitchen stoves, fridges, dishwashers, freezers, bar fridge, as well as a stereo sound system. The goal of our committee is to continue to provide cultural, educational, and recreational events in a safe and accessible environment for all of our community members, seasonal and permanent, young and old. We encourage the residents of Trent Lakes to make use of our center, come out to our planned events and activities, share their suggestions and ideas for future events, and enjoy the facilities that we have and take pride in what this community has built. Our fundraising events allow us to continue producing our monthly community newsletter, the 507 Express, which is in its 33rd year. They also allow us to host dinners, special events for the children, celebrations, and occasions such as Christmas and Halloween and Family Day, which is coming up. Community training opportunities for the provincial food handler course, town hall meetings, fundraising by our garden club has led to the beautification of the center with plants and gardens, a gazebo and a picnic table for those using the Wi-Fi outside the library, and a second table which with an umbrella over by our playground, which allows the parents to have a little bit of shade while their children are enjoying the playground. The community center is being used almost every day of the week, all year round. There is an art group on Mondays, youth group on Tuesdays, library on Wednesdays, euchre, AA, Scrabble on Thursdays. Saturdays is library again, games night. There's during the summer months, we also have senior recovery group, yoga, line dancing. There's also baseball and pickleball on a daily basis when the sun's shining. Skating, weather and season permitting. Various groups and associations also use the center for their annual meetings. And we host weddings, showers, funerals, celebrations of life, birthday parties, ball tournaments, and our community carnival, which is our main fundraiser for the year. As you know, the Cavendish branch of the Trent Lakes Library is located within the community center, and when it is open, staff and volunteer and patrons make use of all of the lower floor of our community center. At one time, the library paid rent to the center, which helped cover the cost of cleaning and hydro telephone and supplies for the washrooms and the kitchen. Several years ago, the municipality changed that arrangement so that although the library is an increasingly important part of the center, council no longer compensates the Culture and Recreation Committee for the fact that the library is part of that building. As you can see, for 45 years, the CNR committee has been striving to produce and support many community activities and programs. When the center was built, our reeve at the time assured us that we would never have to worry about the upkeep of the building. Our fundraising monies were intended to be for activities and our wish list for the community center and grounds. However, times have changed, and now we are financially responsible for providing professional WSIB insured cleaning services. In our small rural community, we are challenged to find providers that meet the legal requirements, and so are faced with additional expenses to cover travel costs. As our income from our current sources is inadequate to cover the cost of all of our programming and also keep the building clean, we now have to seriously look at what events we are able to continue with, which ones we need to give up, and what fundraising events or activities we can add. And that's it. We would like to thank you for looking at our application, and we look forward to hearing back from you.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Kathy? Councillor Caddy, go ahead.
Comment, if I may, Mayor. I think that last year during the ice storm, it really highlighted how important these community hubs are, that people could come to the community center where there's a generator, charge their phones, have a hot meal. Some people, I think, were having 3 meals a day there.
Yeah, 3 meals a day. Well,
yeah.
not so much Joe, but we had as many as 30 people there for dinner most nights. So
It was amazing. Like when you drove by and all the lights are on and everybody's there,
they're all jealous.
So helpful. Well, it's just so helpful.
Working washrooms, just so many things that I think it's an example that the community needs to have at our other halls as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any other comments or questions? Just a comment. Oh, do you have one?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Just a quick one.
Just go ahead.
What's your, thanks very much for the presentation. What's your balance on your balance sheet? Are you in the black and red?
It will be on the application that we
Yeah,
gave you.
see.
Off the top of my head right now, there's maybe $3,000 in the bank.
Yeah, to the good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I think it's just amazing to see how often that's being used now. So,
Mhm.
and that's transitioned in the last few years. It's every day you see something going on. That's what they're for. They're for
Yeah.
all the members of our community. So thank you, Kathy, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Delegation. Okay, we can move on now to Community Care Buckhorn. Is there anyone in the gallery that would like to speak to this item?
I have Chris LeBlanc online. I'll unmute you now.
Good morning, Chris. We're having muting issues, I think.
Chris, you'll need to unmute yourself on your end.
Well, we still muted on your end, do you think?
Yep, I'm sending unmute requests, but
Okay,
I'm not seeing them unmuting.
Okay, well, I think we'll move on. If we can get somebody online, we'll come back to that. Okay, we're going to move on now to the Galway Hall. Is there anyone in the gallery that would like to speak for the Galway Hall grant application? Seeing none, now we might duplicate our issue. Is there anyone online that would like to speak to this application?
Don't see anyone.
Okay. Well, I think council's had a chance to look at it. Is anyone in the gallery or in council would like to speak to this item? Councilor Cadigan, go ahead.
I think the major item that we're looking at is the generator for the Galway Hall. And as I mentioned before, I think that our community halls are hubs, especially during emergencies and disasters. And it's definitely something that we need to replace as soon as we can afford to.
And I think that's coming, and there's things in budgets to cover all that. And we're moving in the right direction. They're fairly expensive, so it's nice that we're saving money up to get it done. So very important. I think they're community hubs, and like you said, I mean, they're important in our more frequent weather issues. And so thank you for the comment. Any?
Just point of clarification,
Yeah.
that's not what this application
No.
is for.
No.
Right. Yeah, it's for internet and
Yeah.
cleaning and supporting the volunteer base. But you're right, they do have a request elsewhere for a generator.
Yeah.
We don't want to muddy the waters today.
Okay.
We'll stay on the grant. Oh, shiny. Oh, I'm very easily distracted. Okay, I don't hear or see anybody. We can move on to the John McGrath Legion Branch 441. Is there anyone in the gallery who would like to speak to that grant application? Or do we have anyone online that would like to speak to that? I'm seeing nothing. Okay, anyone on council would like to speak to that? Councilor Franzen, go ahead.
Yeah, but the branch is very important to the Galway and Kinmount area. They've been there for forever. They do Canada Day celebrations. They have the cenotaphs in downtown Kinmount that they have the celebrations for the wars that the Canadians have fought in. I think it's a very important feature within our municipality. It's the only Legion branch that is within our municipality. So I think it's important to support it.
Thank you. Councilor Franzen, any other comments or questions regarding this application? Go ahead, Councilor Braver.
Thank you. See you, Mayor.
Just get that little delayed. I look away and
Well,
I see the two fingers
wait,
going.
I wait because you look right. And then you look left.
Go ahead, Councilor Braver.
I was hoping to have somebody speaking to this, so I was just going to inquire as to what their 2025 balance of their unrestricted funds and what they basically use them for and that sort of thing. And One other quick question. So this Legion, it's within Trent Lakes?
Yes, it
Because
is.
I know it's almost right in the
Yep,
border, so.
And it has
The
historically.
Cenotaph is in the North Lake.
Yeah.
The Legion is within, like all the way to Cavendish
Right.
Road.
Thank you.
And this Legion struggled a little bit in past years, and there seemed to be getting a little bit more support.
Well, there's an issue with Legion with dying off membership. They're trying to attract membership that isn't exactly military.
Yep, exactly.
So they can survive.
Okay, any further comments or questions? I don't think we have any online. Looking. Okay, we can now move on. We'll move on to the Kawartha Lake Stewards Association. I believe you can introduce yourself and speak to your presentation.
Thank you. Good morning, Mayor, Deputy, Councilors, staff. My name is Ed Leardom, Chair and the Treasurer of the Kawartha Lake Stewards Association. Thank you for your time this morning and your support to the community via this community grants program. Listening to all the other presentations and knowing that there are many more organizations in our community, I have to say that there are wonderful programs that go on to support this community by a lot of volunteers, including our own organization. And in turn, they're wonderfully, if that's a good word, supported by our local businesses and our community individuals. So kudos to them both on helping this community. I haven't prepared an official presentation, but I thought with municipal elections later this year, I would take this opportunity one last time speaking to this particular council in this capacity as chair of Kawartha Lake Stewards. You're all very familiar with the Kawartha Lake Stewards program, Kawartha Lake Stewards Association, and our work and programs to do with the health and of our lakes and streams. In addition to our usual programs, in the past 2 years, we have collaborated with the Kawartha Conservation on their nearshore research and provided them funds for this work. As you're well aware, one of the main attractions, or the main attraction of our municipality is our lakes and our streams. Not only for visitors and seasonal residents, but full-time residents here. So we need to ensure that we have healthy lakes, and that's our goal, is to monitor that and to raise alarms and see what we can do if there are any issues that arise. In addition, and we're proud to announce that this year we are launching a scholarship to support a graduate student, master's or PhD. This $3,000 scholarship will be awarded to a qualified graduate student whose research is primarily focused on the lakes, streams, or wetlands in the Kawartha Lakes region. And we're hopeful that we're able to offer this scholarship annually going forward. One of the criteria, one of the questions you have on your grant submission form is sources of funding. And if you have looked at our numbers, our revenue sheet, you'll see that we have a variety of sources of funding, not only grants from this municipality, but two others, Durrow-Dummer and Selwyn. We sell some advertising spots in our annual report that gives us a fair, it covers the cost of that report actually. Donations from businesses, associations, and individuals. So we're grateful for all of those. I'm just going to say thank you for your past and continued support for our work and our programs. Our spring meeting, by the way, mark your calendars, is May 23rd, Saturday, May 23rd, 9:30 in the Buckhorn Community Center. We'll, of course, send out our normal announcements about that. And are there any questions for me?
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone on the council have any comments or questions for Ed? Councilor France, go ahead.
I just have a comment. The spring and fall sessions that you have are so informative. I tried to make them all because I learned so much.
Thank you for that. We've adopted a format of where our spring meeting is, we invite a lot of other organizations, environmental organizations, to come and speak and have tables and be able to interact with the public who come. And our fall session is more reserved for what we've done for the year kind of thing.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Go ahead, Councillor Brayberg.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor, just a question and a comment. When you mentioned the student scholarship, in your 2026 forecast, where would that be under expenditures? Did I miss it?
I believe you did. Near the bottom, above miscellaneous.
Great. Yeah. Square in the face.
We all have that.
Yeah.
Those things.
Yeah.
Those
are the ones I tend to miss.
Yeah.
It's right in front of you, John.
Yeah.
So, and just a comment, I want to thank you, Ed, for your continued work on this. It seems like you're a lone soldier on this and you're very passionate about it. And that comes through in your efforts with this initiative. And I know I've attended your meetings as well, and you've had some really good speakers. And I think, we're lucky to have you sort of, championing it. So thank you for that. And I appreciate it.
Thanks for those comments.
Any other comments? I just have a couple. It's just the same sort of thing. It just seems like you do have a passion for this. And I think now we have historic information and we can follow along and have new information. So we can see how the health of our lake is either deteriorating, getting better. And there's many lakes in Trent Lake. So this is very important to us. So I do appreciate that. And the May 23rd one I might be able to make because that's not on my annual 45th annual Get Out of the Black Flies weekend. Thank you very much, Ed.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we can move on to the Kinmount Agricultural Society. Is there anyone in the gallery who would like to speak to this application? Is there anyone online that would like to speak to this?
I have Christine online. I'll unmute you, Christine. And you'll also have to unmute yourself.
Okay, I think I got it. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Christine. Go right ahead. Thank you.
Okay, let's get started. Also, thank you for allowing us to present today and to also be submitting a request for a grant on behalf of the Kinmount Agricultural Society. You can move forward, Jesse. Just for some background information, the Kinmount Agricultural Society is a nonprofit corporation, and with the main focus being on to promote agricultural, improve the quality of life, and other community-oriented events. The CAS Board of Directors are responsible for planning and hosting the main event of the year. And the Kinmount Fair is held every year on Labor Day weekend and has run every year except during the COVID time period. The fair was founded in 1872, and there's an attendance of approximately 25,000 during the 3-day event, and the campers of approximately 430 sites for the week. The campers start coming in around Tuesday, and they have a very large, beautiful area that the campsites reside in. And some, as you know, have multiple generations that have been coming for decades. What is the contributions to the community? Well, it's basically health and well-being. Everybody's probably knows and heard of and attends the Kinmount Fair for years and years. You just have to mention Kinmount, and we're just a little teeny tiny community, but if you mention the Kinmount Fair, everybody gets a big smile on their face and they said, oh, I've been to the Kinmount Fair, or my friends have been camping there for years. So it really does bring that the arts and culture and the heritage and that feeling of and sense of community. It encourages participation. We do have cash prizes for all ages, and ribbons, and the ambassador program. The cash and the ribbons are for livestock, for the talent competition, the exhibit hall. And you can see when you go through the exhibition hall what the participation and that enthusiasm looks like, because they put a lot of effort. I know families that spend time with their youth putting together their arts, their crafts, their photography, their vegetables, their fruit, their any type of quilting. So it becomes something that the community and the families can look forward to. I know even the schools also encourage their children to put together arts and submit them into the exhibition hall so that they can feel that sense of pride when they get that cash award or they get their perhaps a ribbon. Next, please. This is just a collage of what it looks like. The Midway is amazing. You have that sense when you come up over the hill into Kinmount and you see that Ferris wheel there, and you just have the sense of pride and excitement. When you enter into the Midway, what do you see? You're going to see all those fun rides, and you see kids and families and friends that are all gathering. And what are they doing? They're checking out the rides. You can hear them screaming and laughing. To the right there is some photos from the exhibition hall. And down in the bottom there, just if you haven't been up into the campground, you can see in that one bottom picture, that's just a snippet of a very small portion of what the campground looks like. Next, please, Jesse. There's also the very well-received, it draws a big crowd, is for the carving competition. There's the pig races, which is hilarious if you haven't seen them. To the right there, you'll see some of yourselves there for the grand opening. Truck and tractor pull, that one image there, that was the truck pull. The first time I watched it for several years, it is a huge turnout of people. Incredibly loud, dusty, dirty. It amazes me how many people turn out to watch the truck pull. Down the bottom there, that's at the Heritage Center. That's a mini railway track. This year new was line dancing, had a huge turnout, and it's going to be a bigger event for 2026. And on the left there, that is campsites. They have they had a Canada Day, or I guess it's a Canada theme, and many of the campsites did decorate up and for the event to display Canada. Next, please. That's getting ready for the demolition derby up there in the left-hand corner. You can see the grandstands are packed. Some various pictures there of how many people are showing up to watch the demolition derby. Again, loud, noisy, stuff flying all over the place. Again, it attracts a ton of people. The little girl there, that was a talent competition that's held on Saturday. So she's got her ribbon, she's got her medal, and she's got a little envelope with some cash in it. There's also different ages for the talent competition. And that down in the corner there is the horse pull, the attendance at the talent competition. And again, it's just a great sense of pride seeing the people come out to watch all these attractions. Next. That's the Midway at nighttime. I stayed this time for whatever reason. I don't usually stay into the night because I'm exhausted by that time, but I did stay for a couple of hours afterwards, and amazes me the 20s, the 30s are coming out to go on the Ferris wheel, eat food, hang out with their friends and family. There's even like young kids that are there, young people that are out there enjoying the Midway before they go to the dance. And lots of volunteers in some of these pictures that you could see. The whole thing is run by volunteers in the community. Next, please. There's also not just the Kinmount Fair weekend, there's also events that are happening all season. So we've got the Cat B off-road weekend events. not only are they coming to have their event on that weekend at the Keymount Fair, but they're also coming throughout the season, helping with fence repairs, picnic table repairs, roof repairs, several types of volunteers that come with the CATV, and they do extensive maintenance. We wouldn't be able to have as much done if it wasn't for their help. They have the Terry Fox Run participation, a very large Canada Day celebration. The Pioneer Heritage Center is there that gets a big attendance. Farmers markets throughout the season. There's also pickleball now has had their another successful year. They're going to be talking next, I believe, so I won't dwell on that. And past events that we've held, the Highlands Games used to be ice skating when we had the better winter weather, and hockey. There's also community dinners and events that are held. And we do have some plans in the works for perhaps monster trucks, movie night, some food festivals, maybe even a playground at some point in time, and to make use of the arena and the venue for weddings and special events. Next, please. The fundraising request is for $26,000, and the list is quite extensive. I'll just quickly run through them. It's to rehabilitate existing track and trails, outdoor lighting for the walkways, recreational equipment and lighting to improve the arena for activities. The arena really is the main hub for all of the events. That's where things seem to start, and because it's a very large enclosed structure, it does require a lot of maintenance. Upgrade the public washrooms to modern standards, upgrade the outdoor landscaping for more usable space, expand the entertainment area for the kids' rides. That just quickly is a bit of a challenge because of the lay of the land. Either put the kids in the larger rides together or we separate them. And improvements to the portable stage, such as a cover and guardrails. And also a biggie is the construction of the roof between the Heritage Complex buildings.
Okay, you've exhausted your 10 minutes, so if you could wrap it up, Christine, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, I think the last page is the wrapping up slide. Again, so I'll just say quickly, there, the list of improvements of projects is extensive. The biggest thing is that other grants other than here are scarce for these types of events and venues because there's such a demand for them. If we had the status quo without the grants, basically the profits that we have will allow us to stay at status quo. But with the either staying the same or the dwindling of the attendance, we really are wanting more funds so that we can improve and then attract more attendees. And thank you for listening.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you very much, Christine. We'll see if council has any questions. Any members of council have any comments or questions for Christine? Seeing Councillor Braber, go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Thanks very much, Christine. Great pictures. And for your future potential projects, are you going to bring back the Highland Games, you think?
That would be awesome. I haven't heard much about that, but if I find out anything, I will get back to you on that.
Right. What's your attendance been like the past 5 years?
So it was during COVID, 0. After COVID, it was, I think, around the 20,000 mark. And then the next 2 years is kind of hovered around the 25,000 mark. So it is lower than it was pre-COVID. And which is why we're looking for a lot more activities. I don't know if you were there this year, but the big foam event was hilarious. The extreme dog show we had last year, the pig races. So we're trying to bring in a lot more activities during the day that will bring in more families and something different.
Right. It seems to be creeping up, which is a positive. As far as your ask in your presentation, you mentioned you're asking 26,000. So that's both money and or in kind. Is that correct?
In kind from Trent Lakes.
Yes.
I guess, do we have any in kind right now?
I was just going by what the application.
If there was in kind, I guess it would be appreciated, but I believe it is really more of a cash grant request.
Okay. Okay, and one last question, if I may.
Yes, please go ahead.
You say it's a multi-year project. When did it start?
Well, I've been on the board for 3 years. I believe it may have been started before that. But meaning it's just an ongoing upgrade. We don't have good lighting right now, so we haven't gotten to the lighting. We've done a lot of upgrades to the grandstand, the walking trails, the roofs. There was a lot of repairs required, especially to the arena and the secretary's office. So those pieces have fallen off the project list.
Right. Thank you. Thanks, Christine.
Okay. Thank you very much, Christine. And I appreciate that you didn't include me in any of the pictures of the trailers over there having some libation. So I appreciate that.
There's stories that happen up there that can't be shared.
Yeah, and I agree. There's been families that we know that have been going there for decades, like many decades. Now there are more spots they rent, and it's a kind of a family get together. So it's very nice that they get to do that there. So you appreciate all that the Agricultural Society does. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? I'm seeing none. I want to thank you very much, Christine, for doing your delegation or presentation. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we can move on now to the Kinmount pickleball people. Is there anyone in the physical gallery that was here to speak to that? Seeing none. And I'm assuming we have someone on the virtual gallery.
I'm not seeing any hands.
I'm not seeing any hands. Anyone like to speak to this grant application? Go ahead, Councillor France.
Yeah, it's held at the Kinmount Fairgrounds, as everybody knows here. It's been very successful. My brother participates. There's quite a few people from Crystal Lake that participate in the pickleball. And there are people from the Portal Lake that participate in the pickleball. But it's been very successful, and they've actually have people waiting to play. So I think it's a worthwhile effort, and it's a good use of that facility.
Thank you, Peter. Anyone else have any comments or questions?
I do have Michael on.
Okay, good. Okay.
Michael, I'll unmute you and you'll have to unmute yourself as well.
Excuse me. Good morning, Michael. Did play pickleball for the first time there.
Oh my God. Am I here?
Yes, you're here. You made it. Thank you.
That was challenging. I couldn't find the right button.
I know how you feel exactly.
Sorry about that.
Go ahead with your.
Yeah. So when you called us up, I'm checking all the buttons here. It's like, how do I get in here? And Councillor Franson, thank you very much for stepping in there for a few minutes. So good morning, Mayor Lambshead, Deputy Mayor, and councillors. My name is Michael Olenek, and I represent Kinmount Pickleball. 2026 will be our third year. If I reflect back on 2025, it was a very successful year. We had good participation. As a brief recap, on the very first day of play last year, we had 24 players on day one. Another positive note is we had no serious injuries. We had great community participation. And we had a large number of new players again this year. So a lot of people that I introduced to the game, gave them some instruction. And usually after about 20 minutes of instruction, I sort of graduate them into the rotation and then they're playing with the other players of the day. So we had lots of fun, lots of socializing, lots of friendships that were formed as a result of the program. So support from Trent Lakes is recognized through certainly program announcements. We make sure that people, when they attend, they know where the support has come from. We recognize it on our Facebook group and also in the Kinmount newspaper. So your support would be instrumental in ensuring continued success. And I think in our application, we indicate where the monies are used. It's for, we need to have a separate insurance policy for balls, tape. We have to tape the lines for nets. Those are some of the things. And Councillor Franzen, thank you. Yeah, your brother he's a regular fixture there, and I know he's very enthusiastic about it, and he's done extremely well in picking up the sport. So I just wanted to make it very brief. And we look forward to any of the councillors or the mayor or deputy mayor for coming to join us next year as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. I will be there. I've been nursing a sprained ankle most of the summer, so I'm getting better. So I'll be back.
Look forward to it.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Councillor Braber, go ahead.
Thank you to you, Mayor. Thanks very much, Michael. And maybe I'll find my way up there if there's a strong wind north. You say if you don't receive the funding, the program may not continue. Have you built in contingencies in the event that you don't receive funding?
Well, one of the things we could do, and this is where I'd have to talk to the Kinmount Agricultural Society, and it really depends on what will be charged by them, right? So right now the funds go back to the fairgrounds, and if we don't get funding, we could negotiate with them. The other thing we've done is I've sent emails to Minden Lakes and also to Kawartha Lakes as well. So to see if there is community money available from other associations or municipalities as well.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Councillor Franzen, go ahead.
I think supporting these kinds of activities helps the social and the well-being of people. They get exercise. It's healthy for them. They get a bit of fresh air. They relate to other people, and I think it's an important endeavor to support. One thing I would like to see is a tournament between the different areas within a municipality that have pickleball, and we could have a Trent Lakes champion.
That would be certainly something I think our participants would enjoy. I think when you introduce tournament play, it raises a level of excitement and anxiety and brings out a different flavor. So we could certainly arrange something like that. Yes. Great idea.
I think Councillor Cadigan has a comment. Go ahead.
Michael, did you not win our Cavendish tournament first year we had it?
Yes, I did.
Hope to see you again this year.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions about the grant? I'm seeing none. I thank you very much, Michael. I think it's a great thing you're doing up there. It's getting that arena used in the summertime. So appreciate
awesome. It. Thanks for your time, everybody.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we can move on now to the Salmon Lake Cottage Association, Owners Association. I don't know if there's anyone in the gallery that would like to speak to this item, or anyone
I have
online.
Peter Kutenkiller online.
Okay.
Peter, I'll unmute you. Did you want me to play the video now, or?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you very much, and I don't envy the task that the mayor and the councillors have ahead of them to pick and choose these favorites. They're all very, very valid choices. But I just wanted to put together a short video to kind of explain the situation that we find ourselves in. And Jesse, please go ahead and play that video.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter.
I will just let everyone online know that you probably will not be able to hear the video, but in the council chambers, council will be able to hear it.
Hello, my name is Peter Kuttenklager. I'm the current president of the Salmon Lake Cottage Owners Association, which we abbreviate to SALACOA. Over 80% of the lakefront homeowners and cottagers are association members. Last summer, we discovered zebra mussels in our lake for the first time ever. SALACOA's executives and its environmental steward went into high gear to see what could be done. Salmon Lake has only one public access point for launching watercraft. That's at 85 Salacoa Road. This is the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry public boat launch at the north end of the lake. According to the scientists and experts we spoke to, this is where the zebra mussels most likely found their way into Salmon Lake, likely via a contaminated hull or trailer from the general public when they come in to fish or boat for the day. When the general public takes their watercraft and hopscotch to nearby lakes without cleaning their hulls and trailers and draining their bilges far onshore between lakes, then zebra mussels have an easy path to a new home. This public boat launch area currently has no washdown facilities to foster the Ontario Clean, Drain, Dry initiative, which is actually more than an initiative. It's the law since 2022. The purchase of a washdown station similar to the one shown in this picture forms the crux of our application. We want to set up a station at the public boat launch area to encourage all boaters to wash down their boats and trailers before launching into Salmon Lake. I want to show a few slides on how seriously we've taken this first discovery and to demonstrate the merit of our application for your grant. Here are the photos of the young zebra mussels we discovered. We circulated these to all Salmon Lake cottagers via email and social media to raise immediate awareness. This topic was also part of our 30-minute presentation at our AGM in November last year. It's important to note that to date, we've only identified one zebra mussel colony in our lake, which was the one floating, one that was attached to a cottage's floating dock. This colony was scraped off and destroyed in August, and it has not reappeared to date. So we also had to show our members the differences between zebra mussels and the other invasive mussel called the quagga mussel, which we haven't seen yet, thankfully. We also had to show our cottagers and other residents the two types of snails that are also invasive. We currently have a lot of banded mystery snails. Some of our cottagers misidentified the snails as zebra mussels. It's all part of learning to properly identify them. We educated our members on zebra mussel facts, how they reproduce, their life cycle, etc. I won't dwell on these slides, but I wanted to show how deeply we've studied the problem to identify solutions. We gave our members info on the lake ecology implications if zebra mussels firmly get established in Salmon Lake. This includes the obvious shock to the ecological balance, the possibility of blue-green algae forming, and the likely loss of fishing and of our loss of our lake trout lake designation. That's very likely. As highly efficient filter feeders, zebra mussels can suck the life out of the lake if allowed to flourish. The info just presented on the previous slides was learned from our discussions with the scientists that we currently work with and those that we were directed to contact. Dr. Paul Frost from Trent University oversees our annual lake chemistry testing as part of the Trent Aquatic Research Program. In a few slides, I'll refer to his analysis. Dr. Frost referred us to a McGill professor who was a chair of river ecology. He then, in turn, referred us to environmental specialists, Renata Claudy and her husband Anna Picton, and also the ASI group in Stony Creek. It's the ASI group that's often hired by Ontario Power Generation to clear zebra mussels from dam intakes. Each of these scientists gave us their time, the benefit of their knowledge and their advice, and for that, we're very grateful. This busy slide shows Dr. Frost's Salmon Lake chemistry results. Notably, the important markers, and there's two of them, that influence zebra mussel survival rates and how well they may flourish. Dr. Frost told us that the dissolved calcium levels, shown on the left, are high enough to support zebra mussels. Dissolved calcium apparently is an indicator of a suitable habitat for zebra mussels. And we'll denote that with the habitat icon. On the right, we talk about chlorophyll A levels. And chlorophyll A is an indication of how likely there is suitable food in the lake for zebra mussels to feed on. We'll drop that icon. Salmon Lake's chlorophyll A levels are not dangerously high. At 1.3 to 2.9, zebra mussels can survive, but maybe not thrive. If the number were over 5, there would definitely be an outbreak. So in summary, the lake chemistry results suggest that zebra mussels can survive with Salmon Lake being a suitable habitat, as shown by the dissolved calcium levels, but the extent that they will flourish is uncertain, as indicated by the chlorophyll A levels. This provides hope and opportunity. There is a potential to still contain them at this early stage, especially as we've only just identified the one dock that had a colony in 2025. We also presented info to our association members on what can kill zebra mussels. In short, there are no natural predators for zebra mussels. And further, there is no chemical compound or pesticide or blanket solution that will work to choke out these zebra mussels. We also put together an action plan for 2026. We had asked, the Salico organization had asked to borrow the washdown trailer from the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters for 2 weeks in 2026 to do a pilot run, but it is unlikely we will get this opportunity early in the season when we really need it. So the purpose of showing you these previous slides is to demonstrate that we've done our homework and that your grant will be well spent. It was FOCA that directed us to the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters, who had the Invading Species Research Program. They have the trailer and mobile washdown station shown. It is this washdown station that we want to copy and use at the Salmon Lake public boat launch area. The Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters put together a price list in 2021 for others to copy their unit. They use this unit at various public boat launch areas to promote compliance with the Ontario Clean, Dry, Drain law that requires boaters to clean their boats and trailers and drain bilges. And they're supposed to do that between lake visits. Our low end estimate is that this trailer alone will be, in 2026 dollars, about $7,400, perhaps a bit higher. It needs to be mentioned that the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters were disappointed by the take-up of their offer to wash boats and trailers during the demonstration days. That needs to be a key focus for us at Salacoa. How do we get high compliance rate from the boaters? We intend to work with the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters on this. In order to get high compliance, the system needs to be quick for the boaters and easy, and it needs to be free. We need to have great instructions. We need to find a way to eliminate all the reasons for them not complying with this law and the spirit of the law. So here's the breakdown of the $9,000 we're asking for. These are estimates with HST included. The bulk of the funds would be for the purchase of the trailer, pump, tank, hoses, etc. Then there's some other costs as shown. We hope that there is some money left over to cover the first year's annual operating costs. If not, Salacoa will shoulder these costs and also in subsequent years. We can't predict whether this program will be successful in keeping zebra mussels out of our lake, but we need to try. Hoping and praying is not an action plan. There are only two paths for us to pursue, and we hope to do both. Plan number one is to do the reactive approach. We're going to form a team of volunteers to identify colonies in the lake and scrape them off. We plan to do exactly this. This has little cost. We just use paint scrapers and buckets, which we have. Approach number two is to be proactive and provide all the tools and encouragement for the general public to take 10 minutes to clean and drain their boats before launching. This is where we need your funding support. We'll do the rest with our volunteers. Our commitment to the municipality Trent Lakes is that if, after 2 years, we feel that this program is not worth continuing, we'll return the trailer and equipment to the municipality, or, if preferred, sell the items and return the proceeds to Trent Lakes. So thank you very much for your time and consideration. We hope to hear from you for a positive outcome. Have a great day.
All right, thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, Peter, thank you very much for that video. Is there anyone on council have any comments or questions for Peter? Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Lamsick. Thanks, Peter. First of all, I feel your pain. We've had zebra mussels in our lake for the past 2 years, and they have grown exponentially. There's absolutely no way we can keep up with them on a reactive approach. They multiply too quickly. And there, as you say, there are no known ways of, there are no chemicals and there are no predators. So they're very difficult to even mitigate. 2 questions, or two, and the other comment is this is a pretty low cost solution. I recall in North Kawartha, they spent something like $30,000 for a boat cleaning station. I can't remember the name of the lake. So this is a much better approach to it. The question is this portable? Like, could another lake perhaps pay you to borrow it? And maybe that might be another help to you in terms of your funding support.
Well, it is portable. We want to, hook it up to an ATV to move it down to the waterfront to refill the tank that's on the back, and then pull it up further upshore so that when people wash down their boats and their trailers, the watery zebra sludge that washes off will then be filtered before it gets down into the lake. So it is intended to be portable, Deputy Mayor Armstrong. I'm reluctant to share it because that would then defeat the purpose of having it, because somebody would come and launch and the washdown station is not there. I would suggest talking to the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters if different lakes can borrow theirs, like we had asked of them, and borrow it for a week or 2 as a pilot project. But yeah, we would like to have something full-time there.
Fair enough. Yep, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Peter. Yeah, anyone else have any comments or questions? Councilor Braber, go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Just a couple of questions. As far as the logistics, who's going to be monitoring this trailer while it's at the boat launch?
Well, monitoring as in security, like we're going to lock it up really good, but we're going to have a few cottagers that are in that immediate area to be the spearheading volunteers that are going to oversee the program to make sure that the tank is always full of water, the gas-powered pressure washer is always full of gas, those kinds of things. So those people are close to the inner circle of Salakoa. We communicate with them regularly, and we expect that they're going to be the ones that are going to be, the frontline volunteers to oversee the program.
Yeah. And how are you intending on educating the public? Is it with these volunteer staff, or is there going to be a point where it may not be staffed, but it can still be used?
Well, it's going to have to be done on a volunteer basis, and we're going to try to ensure that we have enough signage and education to make sure that it's easy to follow the instructions, and they're encouraged to do so because it is, intended to be a law that's supposed to be followed. So how do we get all this to happen? There's not going to be a manned station by any means. It's going to be a volunteer station, and it's just going to be moral suasion to get these people to use it. But we want to make sure that it's free and easy, and I'm sure that somebody's going to probably wash down their truck with a pressure washer as well, so maybe there is an incentive to them to do their boat and trailer at the same time. So we thought about forcing compliance with video cameras, but that's a little bit heavy-handed. We're going to start with the carrot rather than the stick.
Thanks very much.
I'd already thought that was a great spot to wash my truck, Peter. I won't do that. Okay, any other comments or questions? I think this is an important thing. I think as more lakes in our communities get infested with zebra mussels, I think Greens Lake now they're in their 3rd year of continuous growth. So I think it's important to try to slow it down. I know Salmon Lake is a nice clear water lake, so maybe you do have a chance to stay ahead of it. We certainly hope so. But this is a very inexpensive way. I think some other places were between 30 and 50,000 to do some a little more elaborate, but this seems to be all we would need. So thank you very much for your presentation.
If I may add one last thought, one of the people, I shouldn't say, several of the people have, come together with a common thought. If we have zebra mussels in our lake, will there be then a stigma attached to our lake and property values decrease? So even though we've got people that may not care so much about fishing and lake ecology, there is a certain group of people that do care about property values. So hopefully we can use that lever as well to influence people saying, folks, please get together unified and encourage 100% compliance with it. So just another thought, another arrow in our quiver.
Thank you very much. Okay, any other comments or questions? I'm seeing none. Thank you very much for your presentation, Peter. We will get in touch with you. Thank you. Okay, now we can move on to Santa's Elf Patrol. Please come to the podium and introduce yourself. Excuse me.
Good morning, councilors and mayor. And I'm Pam Dickey, and I'm the head elf of this little program that I was just sitting here thinking 4 years ago, last November, I came and pleaded for help from council because we had shut in seniors that were not going to be receiving any Christmas. And thankfully, council was able to start me with a $500 fund. And this will be my 5th year of doing this. It was very successful again this year. Councillor Braybrook was one of my delivery elves, and I'm sure he has shared his experience. I know he's going back to have a cup of tea with a couple of our recipients. I encourage all my delivery people to stay in touch with the individuals all year, and they do. They help them. And it's just, I've got a comment that I'm going to read you that I received last week from one of our new recipients. As a result of having a wonderful half-page article in the Peterborough Examiner, I've had more volunteers come forward. Actually, I picked up another one today. An individual from Peterborough has already offered to provide blankets for all our recipients this fall. Trent Lakes Fire Department gave me bags this year, as did MP Smith, MP Schmale donated items for the hampers. They all got, as I said in my summary, over 9 bags of food. M&Ms came on board last year and have already said they will help us this year. The biggest savings with using them, when I buy the food, the meals from Community Care, their meals are $6.25. With M&Ms, when we buy them on sale and then they give me an additional percentage of discount, the meal is $4.25. So that entitled us to give them 12 meals. And then with the other money that's been donated, we spend $125 in groceries that we pick up from Foodland. And again, Foodland donates too. And the whole point of this, with our shut-ins, is when they get their pension money, their OAS and CPP, it's prior to Christmas. So they think, oh, we've got all this money. But then they don't get their January pensions for 6 weeks. So they have, come the new year, they've got nothing. So with this program, and I'm hearing back from some of them, that because they don't have to go out and buy their meals and whatever, they're able to use this money they've saved in December to pay off the bills that are coming in, like the heating, the hydro, the telephone. All these individuals are still in their homes. They can't move anywhere cheaper. Granted, some of them are in very nice homes, but financially, they can't afford to go and stay at, say, the Regency at $6,000 a month. And it just, it's a good program. And as I said, my volunteers have come up. People are coming on board left, right, and center. I have one individual that's doing knitting for us right now. So they all get gifts. And they got lottery cards this year. Somebody donated lottery cards. I don't know whether any of them won or not, but still, it was nice to see. They, and I have a neighbor whose children got involved, and I know I sent you pictures. You saw pictures of the cookies. The kids decorated those cookies, and it just, It's all by word of mouth now. And what I just received, I have to put my reading glasses on here. You helped me so much. You are amazing, and all your angels are fantastic. Thank you.
I don't think I've ever heard John Braybrook called an angel.
But it was, anyways, I hope that you will consider sponsoring us again this year.
Thank you very much. Hey, does anybody on council have any comments or questions for Pam?
I'm looking at John. John always answers the
Okay.
financial
Go ahead.
questions.
No. that's,
Oh, goody.
Just a comment through you, Mayor. Pam, I know I say this every year you do this, but since me coming on council and every year since it seems your program seems to be blossoming, and you really keep a close eye on the logistics, and you do a ton of legwork, and you're always at it. And I know the feedback I've received from the people I delivered to, two of them are in tears. And one of the fellows I've already come back and spoken with, and he did win, so he and I are going on a cruise. No, but it's so valuable, and I know Christmas is such a lead up to Christmas, and then once it's over, it's done. Everything's down, and then we sort of forget, right? But when it comes around again, I know there's an excitement, and I can see it in you too. When I do speak with you and that sort of thing, you really get excited about it, and you really have a passion for it. And I think it's such a well worthwhile endeavor, initiative that the municipality should get behind. So.
Thank you.
And I realize there's other food banks.
Mhm.
I get that. This is a different. It's a
Totally
different
different.
application. It's the shut-ins that can't get in.
Yeah. And they're embarrassed to do it too. That's the other thing. And I said in one of my comments, we had two individuals. Financially, they couldn't support themselves in the individual housing, so they joined together. So it's happening in our township now. And because there were two, they're individual, we gave them each the whole package. It just, and the word is out there now. I start working on this in June by finding out who we need. And then it just goes, the only thing that killed us this year was the blessed snowstorm in December. Was the day of me doing the pickup. And I have to thank the township too, because the day that we did the delivery on the Facebook page was the Santa Self Patrol program grant. So that was great. Yeah.
Very good. Any other comments or questions? I'm seeing none. I think that it's fantastic that you're doing this in our community. This is our community helping our community. So what a great idea. So,
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we can move on to the Trent Lakes Historical Society. Is there anyone in the gallery that would like to speak to this item? Seeing none, is there anyone online who would like to speak to this?
Yep, I have Janice online. I'll unmute you and send you an unmute request.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Janice. You go right ahead.
Excellent, excellent. Well, good morning and thank you, Jesse and Mayor and Council and staff. My name is Janice Stange, and I'm the rookie chair president of the proudly renamed Trent Lakes Historical Society, succeeding Barb Kane as president. Firstly, we appreciate the past financial and moral and physical support of council and our membership too. Everybody comes through to support preserving local history. We are an historical society, a registered charity with a genealogy focus and preserving local history through our programs and projects. We've been around for 42 years. 1984, they started out. We're a member in good standing of the Ontario Historical Society. And I won't keep you too long, but the funding will be used to support new and ongoing and carrying over projects and programs. And I can go into them if you like or have time or have questions about them, but quickly I could just recap and just say we're going to work with Settlers Village and Bob Cajun on a quilt registry, which is new, and workshops. We're having a new format for our workshops that we're going to take on the road, do a traveling road show and be in Cavendish and Buckhorn. And the Kinmount Fair, we're going to try to do the United Empire Loyalists with Kinmount Fair in the Pioneer Complex. And the ongoing things we're doing is, because of the Peter Robinson project that we did last year, the Galway Pioneer Cemetery is still top of mind. And we're doing some research into the families, and we're going to try to put together a book in the future, likely next year, of all the findings that we found and all the connections and all the web of people that are in Galway Township and in that cemetery. We're going to be digitizing collections, perhaps in Kinmount at the Legion, our own collection at the Fire Hall. The Kinmount Railway Station has an extensive collection of things that can be digitized and shared and just preserved. We're always doing Kinmount Gazette articles and ads. We do a newsletter regularly. And we're working on a map project with doing Harvey and Cavendish. We already have Galway map, and we want to have the 3 townships represented with the lots and concessions and the original or close to original settlers for all 3 townships in the municipality. We have a website. We have social presence with Facebook, and that translates into doing more programming and projects when people know more about us. We're active basically from April to October, but volunteers work and meet and plan all year. And we're just going to start keeping track of volunteer hours, because there's a core group that spends a lot of time in the off season doing things. So thank you for accepting our application. And if there's any questions or comments, I'm open to them.
Okay, Janice, thank you very much for your presentation. Is anyone on council comments or questions? I'm seeing none. I just have a comment. It's fantastic to see that it is now the Trent Lakes Historical Society. That's a big step to make, and I do appreciate all the effort that's gone into that. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Deputy Mayor Armstrong for helping get some of that done. I think you were of great assistance to this organization. So thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Janice.
You're welcome.
Okay, now we can move on to the Trent Lakes Recreation Association. And I don't know if there's anyone in the gallery that would like to speak to this, but
We do have Bruce online. Bruce, I'll unmute you.
Good morning, Council.
Good morning, Bruce. Go right ahead. You've got a little echo coming there, but.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm hearing that from most of the speakers. First of all, I wanted to say thank you.
I think
for
that
the community grant. Can you hear me?
You certainly do have an echo, an echo, an echo.
Uh-oh. I wanted to say thanks for the community grants you've given me in the past. And they've helped us to get staging, lighting, and sound equipment for our youth performing arts group at Lakehurst Hall. And I'm here for.
Because I think one device is echoing off the other.
Say again?
It sounds like you have 2 devices on and one's echoing off the other one.
And the volume's turned up.
Let me try again. Ouch. So I'm here about a summer performing arts camp. And this is been brought about, the possibility has been brought about by our new outdoor event space that's being built at Lakehurst Hall. And I'd like to say thank you to Councillor Braybrook and Rachel Stark and to Dylan Kosh for having made this possible. So we're looking for funding for the camp, in particular for instruction from some professional theater people to help us. And this has been done on a volunteer basis, but I'm hoping that at some point the municipality will be able to offer this type of youth recreational programming. I know and I mean, if you look at other volunteer facilities in Trent Lakes, we have the rink, and volunteers grow older, and then the municipality might have to step in to take over. Same thing here. I've been doing this for a number of years, but I'm going to need the municipality's help to provide this kind of programming so we can continue it at Lakehurst Hall. I consider the new facility to be an arts facility, and I just I got some reporting from the Rural Ontario Municipal Association, who's holding a conference, and one of their sessions was about the arts and their impact on economic development and tourism. So this is the first facility that we built in Trent Lakes in some time, and I think it's a pretty important one. So the construction schedule, as I understand it, it starts March 3rd, and under the contract has to be completed by July 18th. I asked Lakehurst Hall, the board, if we could hold the camp between August 3rd and the 7th after the construction is to be completed. But there seems to be a little bit of pushback there because I'm being told that we can't book anything until it's actually completed. And if you know about summer camps, this is the time right now when parents are starting to book summer camps for their kids. I've already spoken with a few instructors, and they are, one in particular, the one that I'm hoping for as the lead instructor, is also a performer. And so she is booking festivals now and trying to keep that week open in August. So I need to get the word out to campers. I need to solidify things with instructors. And so I need some help from Lakehurst Hall to say, go ahead, advertise, and get things moving. The one good thing about this is we've had kids attend our classes at Lakehurst Hall, and they're primarily kids that are local and from residents that are year-round. But having a summer camp enables us to offer youth performing arts to seasonal residents as well. So I can see cottagers bringing their children or their grandchildren to this camp to experience music, scene study, theater, some sports and crafts, and start to build around our classes that we've offered and make Lakehurst Hall a unique facility for the arts in Trent Lakes. So I'm hoping that you've been good to us in the past. I'm hoping that you'll be able to provide some additional funding this year so we can make the camp possible, and perhaps help me with the Lakehurst Hall board to allow me to get started. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bruce. I'll turn this over. Any questions or comments from council? No, I'm seeing no questions. Oh, Councillor Braber, go ahead.
Yes, thank you through you, Mayor. Just a comment and a question. Bruce, I want to thank you for, again, it's just like Pam, you've taken the initiative on this, and you've been dogged and every year, and you're trying to keep this going, and it seems like it's becoming more and more successful as the word gets out, and there's investment into this program from the municipality in past, and I've seen that investment being put to good use. So any monies, I know that whatever council decides on, I know it's well spent, and it's spent responsibly. And I'm hoping, I mean, it's a moving target with this development. We really don't have any control over it, but hopefully it does get completed. And I'm just wondering, question is, I know you're looking to get programming done. There's no real hard and fast time that it's going to be completed. So we're up in the air there. So I don't know whether it's premature that, because if you do lock here against the professional actor, that the teacher that you wanted to come in, I don't know if you're locking it in with something that may not be developed. So I don't know. That's in your court. So, but it would be nice if we could get it done. So thanks again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other comments or questions for Bruce? Seeing none, thank you very much, Bruce, for all that you've done over there. I think that's a great thing you're doing. So greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, now we can move on to the Twin Mountain Snowmobile Club. Is there anyone in the gallery that would like to speak to this application, or is there anyone online? Hearing none. This is a big ask. I mean, there's a lot of things. They do supply a whole bunch of trails in our community that people get to use. So, okay, no comments or questions? Any comments or questions from council? None? Okay, we can move on to the Buckhorn Lions Club. If you take the podium and please state your name for the record.
Janet Clarkson, the events coordinator, and I'm at least I'm not late. Okay, first, my apologies. My internet has been faulty since October. As a result, I missed the application. At our meeting last night, Pam Dickey mentioned that we weren't on the list, and I said, what list? So I am here begging for late consideration. The Buckhorn District Lions Club is in our 5th year. Our mandate is to serve the community we live in and focusing on all things children. Example, hot lunch program, good deeds program, the new music program, where we have supplied the money for every child at the school in Buckhorn can now take music, have an instrument that they can play with. Any project that we start, we continue. So that music program that we start this year, the budget goes in for next year and the next year and the next year. The biggest cost for children in music is the, I think it's called a reed. And apparently kids are really hard on these things. So that's one of the ongoing costs. Then we support of the instruments for the entire school. And we have an ongoing soccer program. So that program we started 2 years ago. This will be its 3rd year. The costs are down considerably because the Lions cover the costing. The important thing about these, this is a small rural school. We have no other clubs. We don't have Kiwanis. We don't have any of these things. So it's up to the Lions if we're going to do this. I went to the school down the Lakehurst Road. There were 13 of us. We went from there to Lakefield to a school of 300, which at that time was enormous. We had none of the projects that these kids had. We hadn't had basketball. We hadn't had music. We hadn't had anything. So kids at 12, 13, 14 years old are very, very shy. So now our kids from Buckhorn can go into Lakefield. They're going to have the music. They've got the soccer. They've got the basics to blend into the larger communities. Our biggest fee that we're asking for a donation for is the OPP. So our Santa Claus parade is in the 5th year, and we have to hire 2 off-duty officers to the price of roughly $1,100. Our Santa Claus parade is a community activity. There's no interest fee to come into it. Families plan a weekend here to be able to afford this event and to bring newcomers to experience our hospitalities. This parade would not be possible without support of Mayor Terry, and he's a driver, Councillor John Braybrook, and Peter Franson. Now, where these 2 gentlemen come in is the process to get a license for a parade these days is horrendous. So as of a year ago, if it hadn't been for John and Terry stepping in, we probably would not have a parade. So we do the legwork now, and when we hit the roadblocks in about September, these 2 gentlemen take over and get us through the process, because it is horrendous. So in closing, it should really be called a Trent Lakes and Lions Parade, because it is truly community. Other things that we do as Lions, we don't pay anybody. The only cost that we have is our signage and rental of a hall, and everything else that we do is supplied by volunteers. We pay for nothing. One of the new things that we're going to be doing this year is we're going to be supporting 2 children to go to Ottawa to spend 2 days in Parliament. That's going to be organized through Jamie Schmale, but it's going to be paid for on our end of it. So that'll be a new process. So if anyone knows, if this gets out, we're looking for a grade 11 student, either 1 or 2, who may or may not be interested in politics at this point, but who has an inquisitive mind. So that's something, and that will take place in the fall. That will be something that we do. We've been supporting Bruce and his initiatives. We've donated to that. So anybody in the community that's in need of something like Pam's group, community care, all of these people we put money toward. So if there's any money that can be out there to help us with this OPP billing, we would certainly appreciate it. Most of the activities that Lions do are for the community. They're not paid for. So fishing derby, the kids come to the fishing derby, they get worms, they get a hook, they get prizes, they get a day. At the end of the Santa Claus parade, every child gets a hot dog, hot chocolate, picture with Santa. Guide dogs program, Pam has just been preaching.
Yes.
So it looks like that's going to be a project that we will take on. Last year we did the sight program at the school. So the children in kindergarten 1, 2, and 3 had their eyes tested. And we picked up about a dozen kids that were recommended they go and have their eyes tested. So those are kind of some of the things that we do. So in closing, any help you can give us, and again, my apologies for being late.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Anyone have any comments or questions? I'm seeing none.
I just have one comment. I know being involved in the Lions in the past, it's a great organization and it's a great group of people that are working at the Buckhorn chapter.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Go ahead, Councillor Braver.
Just a comment through you, Mayor, with regards to the Santa Claus parade. I know last year was a sunny day and it was the sidewalks were packed. This year it was quite the opposite, with sleet and rain and whatnot. But what I marveled at was the people still came out and they were lining the streets. And it is such a valuable event. It brings out the community, and it would not be possible without your Lions Club, and in particular your drive and your push, yours and Pete with other things with the rink and whatnot. But so I really appreciate you're always at it, so we appreciate that, and hopefully we can help out.
Well, if you take a look, as you most of you have been part of this, but there's 170 kids in the school. And out of that 170, almost, I would say at least 2/3 of those kids are in that parade. So people bring their trailers around, they pile the kids into it, and away they go, and no matter what the weather happens to be like. And, you know, it's community involvement at its best. So it's, you know, it takes 1 or 2 people to get the thing going. It takes probably roughly 20 people to actually make sure that the day comes off, because it's not a simple process. We have to have heavy equipment at each of the intersections. So Buckhorn Sand and Gravel, and there's 2 or 3 other people in the area, but there has to be front end loaders. Like, you can't put a pickup truck there. It's got to be a front end loader. So these people are taking people on a Saturday to come out and do this. It's not like somebody says, okay, put your hand up and stop the traffic. That's not what it's all about. So it's, but it's worth it. Thank you.
I was amazed at all the kids that were still smiling at the end of that parade. You know, they're waving and smiling. I'm shivering and cold, and the wind's blowing in the truck. It was a chilly day, and I'll tell you, there was a lot of people hung in there. It shows you how tough our community really is. And thank you very much for putting that on, Janet. That's a lot of effort. We know that. The little bit that I do and the lot that John does is nice. It's appreciated.
Well, Mitchell Cheshire was afraid because their truck is the one that carries the big SATA float. And he was afraid that somebody's going to be struck by lightning. So he said to me, if this storm keeps going the way it's going, he said, I'm going to take this and get out of here. And I said, I'm going to lay down in front of you so you can't leave.
Sure.
So he stayed.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay.
There's somebody else who helped right there. Thank you, Steve, because the firemen actually lead this thing. So thanks, Steve.
Yeah. Thank you for that as well. Okay. I think we have the Buckhorn Public Schools that we missed.
Yep. Lindsay is still on, so I'll try unmuting you again.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go right ahead.
Hi, good morning. Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties earlier with the permissions. I just wanted to quickly say thank you for considering our application. As you know, the Buckhorn Public School has a new music program just as of last year. In the past, music was taught by individual teachers, which I'm sure you can imagine could be a problem because not everyone has music knowledge and the ability to teach that. So we're very excited that a teacher has been designated as a music teacher, and it's a great opportunity for our students, especially because not only for a lot of students, this is their only opportunity to learn music, but it is preparing them in their transition to Lakefield. So Janet did briefly touch upon this because the Lions Club was very generous in their donation, I believe in September. But what's happening is our grade 6s moved to Lakefield in grade 7. And they are hitting this crazy wall in terms of lack of knowledge for music. So at Lakefield, they actually start a band instrument in grade 5. And our students are obviously so far behind. And what has happened is they're not only behind, they're doing poorly, but their interest in music is just non-existent because it is such a struggle. So we were very fortunate, the school, that an amazing opportunity came up to actually purchase a full band of fleet instruments because a rental company was closing. So even though that wasn't our music teacher's initial goal for her first acquisition, you know, that opportunity of purchasing that full fleet at a fraction of the price was something that they didn't want to pass up. So now we're kind of backtracking, and she wants to look at, you know, your more basic instruments like xylophones and the resonators. So that is what we have requested funding for. It is a big ask, but any dollar amount you could provide could get some of these instruments into the school, which would be great, especially for the younger kids, because obviously only the 5s and 6s are going to be using those band instruments. So as Janet mentioned, we've had this amazing community outreach and support. The Lions Club donated. We've had some anonymous donations. There's been some some small fundraising events, and Parent Council has committed to maintaining, like helps with cost for maintaining instruments. So, you know, if anything breaks or anything like that. But the actual budget for the school every year is $400. That's what our music teacher is being given by the school board. So any funding we can get to get these instruments would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, thank you very much, Lindsay. It sounds like you have a second in command there in the background.
My little 1-year-old is in the background, so I apologize. Yes.
Well, apologize. That's wonderful. Thank you. Okay, I just wonder if anyone on council has any comments or questions regarding your grant application. I'm seeing no hands. I thank you very much for bringing this to us, and we certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
We will be in touch.
Great. Thank you so much.
I ran into that exact same thing that you just talked about when I went to high school. Had no knowledge of music, and I did okay, but it was a struggle for the first couple of years. It is real.
How you making it now?
Yeah, I can't sing any better, but I could still play. I could still play the sousaphone or the tuba. Okay, we missed one more. I don't know if community care has a person online, or I think Chris was.
I don't see Chris online, but if anyone else from community care wants to speak on behalf, they can raise their hand and I can unmute you.
Seeing none. Okay, well, we've got all their information and their application, so we certainly will consider it. I think that is the end of our grant applications. I thank everyone for coming and presenting to us. That's very important. It gives us a little feel more than just the numbers and the letters. It's nice to meet the faces and talk to the people. Thank you very much. Now, I've got my agenda completely demolished. I think we need a resolution.
Motion to receive all.
Yeah, a motion to receive all the delegations. Councillor Franzen for a mover and Councillor Cadigan for a second. Any further conversation about the grant applications? Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
Thanks, Mayor Linton. I think we need to put forward a resolution whether or not we're accepting the Buckhorn District Lions Club into the
yes
grant process.
Okay.
Is that not correct?
Not sure. I think we, by allowing the delegation, I think we've in kind said, yes, we're going to allow you to have a delegation. Not sure.
I'd like to speak to that if we.
Okay.
Let's have the clerk clarify where we're at with that.
We're looking at you, Jesse.
Yeah,
Sorry.
through you, Mayor Lamshead, it was my understanding that through the approval of the agenda, that was the opportunity for council to consider the application or not. And by amending the agenda to include the application, you have considered them in this year's program.
And I'd like to speak to that.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I don't think there's anybody in this council that doesn't support the Santa Claus Parade or all of the work that the Lions Club does. I mean, it's enormous what they've brought to our community. On the other hand, why do we have a process if we don't follow it? And so two things. First of all, the application's not complete. Really even shouldn't be considered by council. The form wasn't filled out and we don't have their financials. But I understand the position staff is in, that they should bring it to council to make that decision. So I do understand that, but it's not a complete application for our process. And secondly, I think it's grossly unfair to include them when everybody else has followed the process, submitted their application on time, and included all the information. So it's not about being fair to the Lions Club, it's about being fair to the 19 other applicants who followed the process. And if we don't follow our own process, then I really think we're making a bit of a mockery of the grant process. So I really do have a problem with accepting that into the grant process at this stage. Again, not for the organization, not for the cause. It's all good. And I think we all support it. But we've got a process. We've bent it before, but this came in 2 days before the meeting. And again, it's not a complete application. So I don't know how we can fairly assess it against the other 19 that did complete all of the information.
Okay. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Armstrong. I think Councillor Franzen has a
comment. Yeah, I'd like to make a comment through you, Mayor. First of all, I'm glad that they brought it forward now. we're going to be having other requests. I know we'll have a request from Kinmount for Canada Day. They didn't fill out any application for that. I'm sure we're not going to deny funds for Canada Day. So things like these come up to a municipal council, especially when people aren't paying attention to what our council does.
It's an unusual situation. I know in the
Yep.
past, we've allowed one or two of these to go through. So
Yep.
we do have a policy, but is it ironclad? I don't know. I'm of the mind to accept this. Go ahead, Councillor Baber.
Thank you. Through your mayor to our deputy mayor. You had mentioned, you were talking about the process, and then you had mentioned right at the end, we have a process and have bent it before. What process, do you remember?
I think this same organization got it passed previously
Yeah.
because they were late in submitting it. And I would point out that we've had the same date around this process for the past 8 years, as long as I've been on council. So it's not like it's a surprise or an unknown that the deadline is out there.
Councillor Cassidy, go ahead.
I'm similarly minded to the deputy mayor. I feel that Kinmount has the last 2 years showed up just before Canada Day and say, hey, can we have some money for fireworks? And we give it to them, but we talked about it, you know, apply when everybody else is applying, do the paperwork.
Councillor Baber, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I tend to support allowing the Lions Club request with a caveat that this is the last sort of kick of the can, last kick of the can, so to speak. It's the first time, it's the second time. There won't be a third, but I tend to support it for this year.
If I may, I think we've delivered that message previously.
Yeah.
So this is not the first time we've said, thank you, we'll make an exception in this case, but never again. So that has already been communicated to this group. And again, I support what they're doing. I support the organization. But if we don't follow the process, then why have a process?
I know that we've had in the past that community care came in late. We wouldn't deny them coming in.
We might.
Okay, well, we certainly have a difference of opinion on this.
Yep.
And if we think that the agenda being approved with the Lions Club on it is enough, I'm okay with that. If we're not, then we can have another resolution. It's entirely up to council. I think we have a motion in front of us. It's been seconded.
Yeah.
We've had conversation. So I think I will call for a vote on that motion as it is. And if it fails, then we may have to have another motion. So I will call for the vote. All in favor? Oh,
Sorry, just before we
Yeah, you have
do
more.
that, Mayor, yeah. So for the motion is
to accept
with the
all of
clerk,
it.
what you're saying, because it was on today's agenda, it's deemed as acceptable.
Yeah. And let's make sure we put a little caveat on there that this never happens again. But we don't even have to. We know it's, pardon? Go ahead.
Sorry, through you, Mayor Lansford. The motion that's on the floor right now is just to receive them and the delegations for information. We did hear and accept it, at least for consideration at this meeting. I think if we want to not consider it any further, a separate resolution to deny that specific application would be appropriate after we receive them all for information.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, when you're filling out your matrix, I think you can use other ideas there too. So, okay, so the motion is to receive all the delegations we got. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Now, do we want to have a motion to discuss the Lions Club's application? We can do that now.
I will make a motion if you like that under the circumstances, to be fair to all of the applicants who followed the process, that unfortunately the Lions Club application not be considered because of its timing and incompleteness.
Do I have a second for that motion? Councillor Cadigan for a second. Any conversation about the motion? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has failed. Okay. We can now move on to staff reports. I have so much writing on my paper, I can't even read what it's supposed to be. Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
Yes, I have a problem. I have a hard stop at 11:45. I have to get to Newmarket.
Okay,
The only thing I would ask is if we could amend the agenda to bring my request forward so I could speak to it. And then I will leave when I have to leave.
sure. I think that's an appropriate ask. Can we have a motion to amend our agenda proceedings and bring the septic, I don't remember what it was called.
Discretionary.
Yeah, discretionary septic inspections. I have a seconder for Councillor Braybrook. I will call for a vote. All in favor? That motion is carried. We have amended the agenda to bring item 7.4 to the foreground right now. And I think Deputy Mayor Armstrong, you would like to speak to this.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll try and make this quick. As everybody knows, we had a discretionary septic inspection program for 8 years. Very successful, in my opinion. We found failures that were then corrected. And people, as they learn more about the program, would in advance of the inspection upgrade or repair their system. So I think it's been very successful. And as we know, there are 3 things that impact our lake quality the most. One is septic maintenance and leakage. Second is shoreline, natural shorelines. And the third is chemicals. So shoreline's a very important component in keeping our lakes healthy and safe. We suspended the program when Peterborough Public Health suspended or ended the service. We didn't have capacity. We needed to do training. So that was in 24 as well as 25. So I'm bringing it up because I think we need to relook at starting this program again. However, bottom line, in light of where we are with our budget request this year, I'm prepared to withdraw the request, knowing that we will have lots of inspections for short-term rentals this year because it will be a proactive program. So I feel a little better that we will at least get to many systems this year. But I do want it to be brought forward for our next budget by staff because it's a really important program. We need to do it when we can. So again, in light of the other priorities, I think the best thing to do is just withdraw it for this budget cycle.
Okay. Thank you very much, Deputy Armstrong. I'm agreeing with you 100%. I think there's many other avenues we have now that we didn't have before because our own staff are looking at when we get a building inspection for a larger addition, the system has to comply to the new needs and wants. So I think we're going to catch a few more of those as well. And so thank you for withdrawing that. Do we need to vote on that?
I would suggest maybe that council proceed with the third option which would be to defer the request to the 2027 budget and direct staff to include developing a proposal in their 2026 work plan.
I'd be happy to make that motion.
Perfect. That includes staff, and I think that was an important part of that. Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. Any further conversation about the septic reinspection program? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Armstrong. Okay, we're back in session. We can move on now to staff reports, which item 7. And item 7.1 is Donna Taggart, our CAO treasurer. Would you like to speak to this item, please?
Yes, thank you, and through you. So before you is an updated 2026 draft budget report. So you will see that the municipality has now received the assessment from MPAC for 2026. So the current value assessment is 2.1 billion. The province, as I alluded to before, has delayed the reassessment again for 2026. So the assessment growth did come in a little higher than when we came to you in November. So that has been included. It's 1.17% or just over $30 million in increased assessment due to growth. And of course, that number comes from the difference in assessment from January 1st to December 31st for things like new builds, additions, and reductions due to fires or assessment appeals. So changes approved by council at the November 17th meeting have been made, along with other changes identified by staff. This year, you'll see in the report that I have listed those for you. There are representatives from all departments that if you have any questions regarding those changes. So with the changes, the tax levy increase from 2025 to 2026 would be $503,853.71 or 4.42%, which equates to a tax rate increase of 3.28% when factoring in taxable growth. So that would see an increase of $55.44 for a single family detached property, $87.35 for a single family detached on the water, and $81.97 for a seasonal dwelling on the water. The report also includes or follow-up reports, additional requests for council consideration. That one has now been removed. So the requests include a transfer to reserve for a new tanker pumper, and also the request for fragmite management through the Kawartha Land Trust. So should those additional requests be considered, obviously we would have the $195,000 request out of there. So every $100,000 worth of assessment or $118,000 is a 1% levy increase. So you can calculate it that way. So it's $100,000 for the reserve transfer for the new vehicle, and it's actually $3,500 for the fragmite spraying, which has changed slightly since this report was produced. So that would be all I'd have on this. This is for your information. Okay. And then we will move on to a report on the tanker and pumper for discussion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone have any comments or questions? Go ahead.
I just have a comment on the fragmite. I don't think I could support that.
We're going to get to that, Peter. We're just,
okay.
What we're just talking about.
Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you.
The motion to receive.
Yep, the draft budget update. I think there's a motion required there. Yes, there is.
Motion to receive.
Councillor Cadigan, do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Francis for a seconder. Any conversation about the motion? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you very much, Donna, for the update. Now we can move on to 7.2 of our agenda, which is Donna Taggart, our CIO treasurer. Would you like to speak to this item, please?
Yes, thank you, and through you. I believe we do have a picture to put up here now. Thank you, Bianca, for facilitating that. There we go. So, and for Steve for sending that along. So at the November 17th meeting, council supported a change in the replacement of the heavy rescue to a crew cab pumper rescue, with direction to provide council with a proposal for funding this purchase, which this report addresses. So switching the heavy rescue to a crew cab would require an additional $592,000 on top of what has already been collected for the heavy rescue replacement. So with manufacturing timelines, it is anticipated that either one of these vehicles would need to be tendered in 2026 for arrival in 2028. So the report provides 3 options for council consideration, with the recommended option 1 being that council direct staff to proceed with a competitive procurement process for a new crew cab pumper rescue in 2026 for delivery in 2028. And further, that the 2026 budget include a transfer to reserve of $100,000 for this replacement. And further, that the balance of the cost of the funds for this purchase be raised through future transfers to reserves, budgeted monies in 2027 and 2028 through fire capital reserves, and the use of unfunded capital if required. So the report does outline the current balance in the fire capital reserve, which is $3.9 million, with the anticipated reserve usage of between 2.1 and 3.1 for the new build underway in Buckhorn. It also outlines delayed replacements of boats for stations 1 and 2 to allow additional time to collect funds for these replacements, as both boats are still in good working order. So the report does also outline the next build under the facilities master plan, which is the build in Cavendish, The estimated cost of this build is almost 5.3 million, with 75% of this being apportioned to fire. So just under 4 million. And those funds we would need to probably add to 2027 and 2028 budgets as well, and probably use debt to fund some of those build. So it's anticipated that there will continue to be transfers to the fire department capital reserve through the sale of surplus equipment and rolling stock and any annual surpluses as they occur. So therefore, staff are looking for direction today. We've provided those 3 options for consideration. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Donna. Anyone have any comments or questions, or go ahead, Councillor Braber.
Thank you, through you, Mayor, to Donna. So staff's recommending option 1.
Yes.
I want a picture of that truck back on the screen. Go ahead, Councillor Ranson.
Yes, first, through you, Mayor, I'd like to make a comment. Steve took me out to view a similar truck, and I appreciated that very much. It gave me a visual, and I would support option 1.
Can't believe I didn't get a ride out to look at a truck. I think, go ahead, any other questions first before Councillor Cadigan, go ahead.
For clarification, the cost for option 1 for this year's 2026 budget is $100,000.
Through you, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Councillor Braber, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to receive the report and also support staff's recommendation of option 1.
See Councillor Franzen for the seconder. Any further conversation? I just have a comment. I think this is something we probably could have done a few years ago, but now that this technology is better, I'd like to monitor on the top of that. I think that's a great asset. So I think this is a necessary purchase as we evolve and become a little more assistant oriented. So I think it's a great idea.
Just like to make a comment, this truck is well designed. I mean, with the ladder, it's not being on the very top of the truck. You know, if we have vertically challenged firefighters, they can actually reach where the ladder is going. It's just such a well-designed truck.
I may have to go and have a look at one. Thank you. Again, Councillor Braber, go ahead.
Hey, just one comment. It's related to fire, but it was my presentation at Roma to the parliamentary assistant, Mr. Sandu, about trying to get more funding for our roads and whatnot. And part of that conversation that came up and a question from the parliamentary assistant was, do you have emergency services that use your roads? And inside my head, I sat back and went, man, we do. And so I had to provide a little education on Trent Lakes Fire and Volunteer and all the equipment that we are purchasing and potentially purchasing, which is more money on our plate. So it all went around to how much money we have to put out for the roads, you know, and for our fire and that. So anyway, just a quick comment.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that report, by the way. Okay, we've had conversation. Any other conversation? Motion, we have a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, thank you, Donna. Thank you, Steve. And we can move on now to item 7.3 of our agenda, which is Donna Taggart, our CEO Treasurer. Would you like to speak to this item as well?
Yes, thank you, and through you. And I've actually asked Dylan to speak to this one. Please.
So this is for the Phragmites control at along some roadsides, but I'll specifically speak to Sandy Beach. We've got about 4,000-ish square feet of Phragmites adjacent to the water, and then approximately, I'm estimating, another 2,000 square feet in the water. It's too bad Tom isn't here to maybe speak a little bit more to the process, but From what I understand, it'll involve some mechanical removal of the Phragmites and the rhizomes that spread them. And then I imagine that's when they will get into their chemical management. I'm not sure how that works specifically along the water side of things, but something we would get into the weeds with KLT.
They do have a gentleman that's looking into all them chemicals to see whether they are suitable for waterfront. He did it voluntarily. He actually phoned me and said, I want to look into it because that's what he does. It's kind of be neat information for you to have as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not an easy problem to solve. They just keep growing and growing and growing. As soon as you try to disturb them and stop them from growing, they put out hundreds more shoots to try to survive. So as soon as you start to try to mitigate them, they really get aggressive in trying to not be mitigated. So it's an unusual, and I have a little patch that I'm going to solve this summer. So I'll let you know how I go.
And through you, Mayor, some of those Phragmites are on the neighbor's property as well. As so, we can spend all this time and money potentially removing them off of ours, and they might be back very soon afterwards. So.
Yeah. So it's a situation. Go ahead.
Sorry, through you. Just to update this request, we have since heard that the Kawartha Land Trusts are looking for 3,500. It's increased from 3,125. It sounds like they have been successful, more than likely through the grant application that they put in, but the commitment would be slightly higher than what is reported here.
Okay. Anyone have any more comments? Councilor Braver, go ahead.
Just have a comment. In our last EAC meeting, we had a presentation from both Terry Reese, who's the Central Ontario Coordinator of the Ontario Phragmites Action Program, as well as Danilyn Williams, who's the Executive Director of the First Nations Phragmites Control, and Dr. Janice Gilbert, Executive Director of the Invasive Phragmites Control Center. The presentation was fantastic, and I think it's something that I think would benefit. It'd be nice if council could see that presentation and the work that they've done, especially in some of the waterfronts out near the Kincardine at Lake Huron. It's fantastic. Like the before and afters. Before, you couldn't even see, like, it was just all Phragmites. And then the after, and they've got quite the process. They've got it down to quite the process. And the before and afters are, you can't see lake. And the next one is, it's a normal beach again. And they do, and part of the presentation, they do speak to how to, prevent it or slow it from, coming back and that sort of thing. So they do have a program. I think it'd be beneficial for us as council in general. Look into. So.
Well, and I think Tom has a pretty good grasp on it as well. So that'll be a great presentation to council. I think it's important. I know it's going to creep into Ketchcoma, the north end of Ketchcoma Lake, probably this summer. So, unfortunately. Okay. Anyone prepared to make a motion about this, or is there any more questions? Councilor Rader, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to support the budget request paper.
Okay. Do I have a seconder for that motion? I will second that motion. I think this is more important than we think it's going on. So now we can have more conversation. Anyone have any conversation? Councilor Baker, go ahead.
I'll just mention that the small area of Sandy Lake, I think it is a well worth endeavor. It's not. I mean, any amount of money is a lot of money, but the potential for this to get out of hand, if we can get ahead of it, who knows if it did get out of hand and the cost of remediation that could be through the roof. So it would be a good sort of test run as well on a smaller area and see how effective it is. And I mean, we have close to 50 lakes, and
you look at the entrance into Ketchcoma Marina. There was just a few of those plants there, 5 years ago, 8 years ago. Now it's a few hundred meters of them.
Yeah.
And now it's going around behind and it's in the other pond. Now it's going to go down into Ketchikoma Lake. So I think we should try something. It's not a huge amount of money. I realize it's all tax dollars, but this is something that we're going to need to address in the near future. If we don't start now, we'll never know where we're going to get to. This is why I do support this resolution. Any other comments? I will call for the vote. All in favor? The motion has carried. Thank you very much. Yeah. Like, we're almost done, are we? Are we done? That was it. Eric, you're not going to talk about anything here today?
Through you, Mayor, if you'd like me to, go ahead.
Oh, I'd love to have a little conversation about that. Thank you very much. Okay, we can move on now to item 8 of our agenda, which is adoption of the confirming bylaw. Councillor Cadigan for a mover, Councillor Franzen for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? The motion is carried to adopt the confirming bylaw. We can move on now to item 9 of our agenda, which is adjournment. Would anyone care to make a motion to adjourn? Councillor Franzen for a mover. Councillor Brayburg for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, staff. Thank you very much for everyone in the gallery, and thanks to council.